I'm not going quiet for any man. No one ever.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
You shush me, shushy, you shush.
Tottenham On Tour
is gonna get destroyed.
Waffle, waffle, bro, waffle, bro.
Tottenham On Tour Tottenham On Tour.
Look what we have here today, guys. We are back with a bang today because we've been gone a couple of weeks because Brian's been a bit of a dick. Only joking, Brian. Love you, really. But yeah, look, we've got a brilliant show lined up for you guys today. So we're gonna give it to you today. We're gonna give it to you because you guys deserve it. You guys deserve.
I'm giving it to Alex today. I'm not giving it to the fans. I'm giving it to Alex. Alex is gonna get it. You know right from? You gonna get it from?
Oh god, it's good. How is everyone doing? Let me ask. How? Shut up, Brian. Let me do this.
Mate, I'm going to say my partner in crime. You're asking for it, mate. You go for Alex, mate. I'm going for the fucking funny.
Well, I want to see how everyone's doing. So let's start with you, Brian. How are you doing today, man?
I was doing fine till your fucking intro, and I've just realised within the first 2 minutes I swore 4 times. So that's a very, very good start. So apart from that, I'm tickety boo. I booked my ticket to come home to England yesterday, so I'm home in 20 days. For 26 days, so all good. And
I'm busy. I'm busy that whole month, mate. I'm busy.
Fantastic, mate. That's why I booked it. And I have to say, yes, the last show was me being a dick. I wanted to spend some time with my wife. No, I was being a dick. So yeah, but now
you said it.
Now, mate, listen, I'll man up. I'll man up. But yeah, let's go down to the people that have joined us as always. Sean, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Yeah, obviously pumped after the Thursday night thing. It was just an amazing. I've never seen Tottenham Stadium like that. Just shows what we are capable of. That's the new ceiling that we should be aiming for as often as possible because we're usually so much lower. I couldn't go the entire month without drinking like I said I would. And Thursday, the wheels fell off a little bit after the game. So I'm having this. And that's why I'm lively tonight. And I'm coming after you and you and you.
I'm that way, Sean. I'm that way.
I'm coming after all of you.
Alex, how you doing, man? How are you, Alex?
I don't know what's going on here. What's going on? Yeah, I'm all right. I'm good. Gonna get be more calmer about that game. The North London derby. Yeah, but a calmer intake. Let's just say, because I think, let's be honest, I think there's a harsh reality about it as well. To be honest, but we'll get into it.
Okay.
What, we bang average?
Hold
the front page. They were bang average. Say it now, mate. Save us all the suspense.
Well, look I think because since we've been gone, right, we've had 2 games, right. It's in the meantime, right, because we didn't have a show last week. So we drew against Liverpool. We had a chance to beat them, and we've gone and absolutely battered Arsenal with let's be honest, not the most amazing football, but we actually battered them. They couldn't handle us at all. So it's been a good week. It's been a good week, I think. I mean, I don't know what you guys think. Should we come to Sean? Let me ask you first. How do you feel about this week? How do you feel about North London derby? You can touch on to the Liverpool game if you want to, because I know we haven't spoken since then.
Yeah.
But yeah, how are you feeling? We picked up 4 points from two good teams in the league this season in the last 7 days. So how are you feeling?
Yeah, honestly, I'm a little bit mixed minds about the Liverpool game. Like, I think everyone probably would have taken a point before the game. but I was generally like pretty comfortable in my mind that we were going to get something from it. And on reflection, I think it was actually 2 points dropped rather than a point gained, especially given what Arsenal did with their fixtures, Leeds, and the games before that, Chelsea, United, and whoever else they played and won. And so, you know, we put ourselves in a sticky position because of the Brentford and Brighton game. But Liverpool, I thought we were, you know, I said on plenty of streams that the best version of Tottenham was going to show up, and it did. We were just unlucky on the day, I think, not to grab the 3 points. And then coming into Arsenal, I was uber confident. You know, the only little wiggle room of nerves came in when I heard that Romero wasn't fit. But ultimately, I thought Sanchez put in a great performance. I thought everyone put in a great performance. I think like Emerson's growing on me day by day. I know you, Danny, you wanted to come at me after saying it on.
I did
on whoever's channel it was on
Bob Spurs, wasn't it? In the wall, wasn't it?
Spurs channel last Saturday. He's growing on me, man. I feel like, you know, the flair thing he was doing. And his performances are getting better and better.
Since Cody got the shirt.
Yeah. Like, he is growing on me as a player. I think he's learning, and I want to see how he finishes the rest of the season. Unfortunately, the reason I was saying I'm a little bit kind of 50-50 is because I was confident about Arsenal. I was confident about Liverpool. Where I think that Tottenham could go and let us all down, I don't think there'll be a problem against Norwich, but I do think tomorrow there's an opportunity for us to have that come down from the high of what was 48 hours ago. Plus, if Kulusevski's not fit, then you know, like I guess we'll talk about that as well. But generally, I just, if we can get through tomorrow, then I'm like, whatever happens, we've done our best, and you know, we'll see how it unfolds. But I'm a little bit Burnley, Tottenham. You know, Burnley's the sort of team that Tottenham could go and be Spursy against, so it'd be an interesting one. That's how I feel generally.
I mean, Brian, how are you feeling about it?
So what I will say is, at the start of the week, if someone said you were going to take 4 points from those two games, any other time you're going to take it. We needed 6. Let's be serious. But I thought we'd get a draw against Liverpool, and I thought we were going to win the North London Derby. I didn't think we'd win it in the manner we did and at the ease we did, especially like Sean said with Romero being out. But it was the Arsenal game. I mean, I've just watched bits back because obviously I was at the Scotland Yard where the place was absolutely rocking. We put a video out yesterday.
By the way, I love that video. I watched it from start to finish earlier, mate. It's really cool. Really good video.
It was that pub. I mean, I urge people to come out and see me in Canada and see how beautiful this country is and how happy I am here. But that pub has got a lot of traction through the
What
YouTube
percentage of the people in there were actually of English descent? Speak with an English accent, whatever.
Oh, with an English accent, like 95%.
Really? Okay.
A lot of them, like,
sorry, I thought you said English. Sorry, English. Obviously, Canada here, you either speak English or French.
Is there a lot of like people from who immigrated from London, from England?
There's a big load of us. You got to remember what happened as well with Canada is we had Paul Stalteri. So when Paul Stalteri moved over and came to Tottenham, that increased the Canadian fan base.
Got it.
Big time. And you got people like Scott M who's in the chat. Spurs have got a very, very big fan base here. When I became part of the board of Spurs Canada, which is now Toronto Spurs, I was amazed. But that pub packed out. It was standing room only in that pub. Yeah. And there's actually a few of the Toronto Spurs actually over there now for the Burnley game. So you might bump into a few people because they know your faces and they might come up to you and say, I'm mates with Brian. But you know what? The pub was rocking. So I didn't get to... You could hear the atmosphere, but we were creating our own atmosphere, as you would have heard. But I watched back today. So I watched it on DAZN. Not the whole game, but bits of it. Then I watched the Glenn Hoddle and Ian Wright bit afterwards. And then I've watched Spurs have released the Conte Cam and the uncut kind of new thing that they do. And all I could tell was the noise. I mean, you guys will be able to go out. Like, people have said there's never been a noise like it in that place. And it was just formidable. But the performance, we'll all talk about it in bits, but I thought it was just outstanding. From start to finish. Yes, we could have played better, but if someone had said to you, you're going to beat Arsenal 3-0 in the manner that we did, everyone would have bit your hand off right before kickoff. 100%. It was sensational. And do you know what, Sean? One thing we will debate about, you think Burnley? I think Burnley were walloping them 5-1. Burnley at home.
Oh, we might do. Yeah, it could easily. I'm just saying, there's that Spursy thing, maybe. You know,
it wouldn't. Do you know what, Sean? If it had been away, I would have been totally on your side.
Okay.
But the fact is that since we played Burnley at home, we've beaten them 4-0, 5-0, 5-1s.
Yeah.
And I was at one when Robbie Keane scored 4 goals. It's one of those games where at home, remember when we used to beat Stoke 4-0, 4-0, 4-0? Burnley at home seems to be one of those games. So I'm expecting
Fair enough. Yeah.
a tonking tomorrow. And especially now that Son is going to know that Salah might be out because of his injury, he's going to be all guns blazing. But yeah, it was just, listen, 4 points from that weekend, I'd have bit your hand off, and I'm over the moon.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with that. You can't. None of us probably expected to get anything at Liverpool. So to get even a point and have a chance to win it in the way that we did, even though we obviously had less of the ball, that was all inevitable that was going to happen at Liverpool, right? But we defended as a unit. We defended as a team. We put every man behind the ball every time we defended, and they only had a couple of shots on target the whole game, even though they had like 20-odd shots. We stopped them from scoring. And they had to because of the amount of shots they had to get a lucky deflection to get a goal. So that was it. It was a good result. And obviously the Arsenal game, I mean, I'll come on to it after, but I want to get Alex's thoughts first on how this week's been for him. And Alex,
here we go.
Mr. Positive. He's not box office at the moment. He's still delivering the post at the moment. So
Alex runs at pH 7. He's not acid nor alkali. It's everything's bang average.
so Alex, how are you feeling, my man?
Okay. In terms of the Liverpool game, I think we have to put things into context. You know, it was a good result in terms of a draw, but I think Liverpool played into our hands again. Like I said, you know. I think it's down to Antonio Conte, the tactics and stuff. One thing I will say is that one thing that I will say about Conte, he's done absolutely fantastic. You know what I mean? You can't not look at him and think he's absolutely fantastic in terms of the way he's changed the team, because it's an absolute miracle, and I still stick by it. It's an absolute miracle we're in the position that we're in at the moment. It's very functional. It's very, very functional. And I don't like functional, to be honest with you. I like free-flowing attacking football.
What do you mean by functional?
Everybody knows what they need to do. It's kind of bits and it's stop-start, clicky. It's all right when and I think a lot of players need to play on instinct and initiative. I think. Which I saw against Arsenal, which I wasn't impressed by Arsenal, to be honest with you, because I think they're bang average as far as I'm concerned. I think after that sending off, we should have battered them, as far as I'm concerned. I don't even think it was really a big deal, really beating them anyway. The only thing that was great about that day, I mean, I'm okay. Let's go back onto the Liverpool game, because I want to keep on track here. What I'm trying to say here, more in order. But what I'm trying to say is, in terms of the Liverpool game, they played to our hands. And we played on the counter a lot of the time. That's what I've started to see from Conte, is that, you know, we're not very good on the ball. We struggle on the ball. That's because we ain't got a lot of ball playing sort of players that are very comfortable on the ball. The only player that I would say is very comfortable at the back for me is Romero, and it's clear that he's very clear. The midfield is okay. I mean, I've still been to cause hot and cold. I think Højbjerg has been very impressive, even though for me, you can do better. I still think there's more to. I think it just doesn't. I'm not sold on him. I'm not sold on him. Sessegnon could do much better. Much better. He's doing well, and I think I'm gonna keep my counsel on him, because I think he's had injuries. I think. Kane's been fantastic, but in saying that, I still don't like the fact that we rely on him a lot of his time. The Song thing, if we keep on relying on these runs behind, it's going to catch up with us. You know what I mean? And Kulusevski, I mean, to be fair, he's done very well. He still needs time, in my opinion, but it will get quite clear to play teams how to stop him. To be honest with you, and
how do you stop him?
Well, you know, it's quite clear. Just, you know, be really hard on him, and that's it. But I mean, I want to get onto the other points that I want to make anyway. But that's just for me at the moment. That's just me being very harsh and being overcritical. But you know, I want my team to do better. You know what I mean? So that's my opinion on that. We did well to get a draw at the game. The goal was coming. Because, you know, we sat back. and you know that if you keep on sitting back, the goal's going to come. So I think we've done well in the circumstances that we did, and that's it. And I think that was a good point at the end of the day. Arsenal game, I'm sorry, we were bang average. We weren't that good. We weren't that good. I was not impressed about it at all. We had some good spells in the game. Yes, we did. I mean, like I said, the big thing about that game was the fans. That was the big thing about that game.
Well, they were better than bang average.
No, because the fans, it was the loudest thing I've ever seen in my life.
It was the loudest.
I've never heard
absolutely
it loud. But in terms of the
thing
team, honestly, the Arsenal team were absolutely. They played into our hands. They literally played into our hands. They're the ones that made the mistakes. We were just capitalising.
You know what, Alex? You're right about the fans, right? Because the fans made a difference. Because what I saw from that game, right, is the fact that for me, it was the fans that created this atmosphere that was so intimidating for those youngsters on that Arsenal pitch. They lost their heads completely.
Yeah.
They lost their mentality.
Rob Holding couldn't handle it.
None of them could handle it. None of them could handle it.
I need to say as well, it shows how bad Arteta is. Like I said, I mean, everybody was getting so worried about Arsenal, and I was sitting there thinking, I'm more worried about Leicester City. I'm more worried about West Ham.
and you were wildly wrong.
I'm more worried about no. I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong because I'll be right next season. Because some of them won't have Europe next season. They won't have Europe next season. Arsenal have had no Europe this season. They've had no Europe this season.
But Arsenal are in fourth. They're the team you have to chase. They're the reason why we're worried about them. Leicester are 11th.
But then, Sean, you're talking nonsense again. That's what I'm trying to say. No, you're not listening to my point. My point is they've had no Europe this season. So that all they've had to do is focus on the Carabao Cup, which they failed. They focus on the FA Cup, which they failed. You know what I mean? And they've concentrated on the league. Now, to be honest, when you look at some of those games back, which I haven't watched that much of the games back, but I've got the insight when I've got a brother that's an Arsenal fan, and he ain't impressed. And he saw it coming. He actually said the sending off made it worse for Tottenham trying to get through them, which I do agree, because we struggled. We literally struggled to try and get through them because they shut up shop.
We were 2-0 up though.
Yeah, that's the point. But if that was a Man City, if that was a Liverpool, that would have put Arsenal to the sword straight away.
We extended the lead. We extended the lead.
Let me ask you a question on that.
That was it. Done.
Let me ask you a question on that, Alex, because the one thing I was saying on We Are Tottenham TV in the streams I did yesterday was, do you know what I took from that in what I loved about that game and what I took from it? If you look at it, for the whole time it was win, lose, and all these big games we so-called should win, and apparently all the games we should win, and we're Spursy. Going into that game on Thursday, those players not only had the pressure of being called Spursy if we'd lost it, St Tottenham's Day would have happened. That stadium would have gone absolutely toxic. Yeah. The pressure of the North London derby on its own, plus the spice added from it not being played in January and Arsenal doing what they did.
Well, everything, Brian. Champions League on the line. Everything.
Yeah, exactly. Everything on the line.
And Arsenal started well. Arsenal started well. First 10, 15 minutes, they were better than us.
What is this thing about Spursy? I don't get this whole thing about Spursy and this Tottenham's Day. It's not about being above Arsenal anymore. You know what I mean? No. This is the thing. This is the problem I've got with Tottenham fans at the moment. We have to start thinking about the past and everything else and what's going on in the past. We need to stop thinking about the past. You know what I mean? This is the point. This is the point I've got to make about Conte. The thing is, though, like I said before, because people completely forget what I said before about Conte. He's come in, like I said, and he's looked at Tottenham and said, "What the hell is going on here? What the hell is going on here?" Now, if you're going to start bringing in Conte and using his knowledge and everything else, like you go to a job, for instance, if you've got somebody who's more experienced and he knows the job, would you not listen to him? Would you listen to him or not? That's the whole point. Because the thing is, though, if we keep on thinking about the past and thinking that, oh, we do this, we do that, we do this, we're not going to get nowhere. We're not going to get nowhere. Liverpool were absolutely useless 10 years ago. They're absolutely useless. And look at them now. You can't say that now, can you? They could get the
Chelsea have missed the penalty.
What point are you trying to make?
Penalty. Just to let you know.
If you're not following, Sean, I don't know what else to say. My point is that if you keep on going referring back to the past and saying that, oh, by the way, we're going to Spurs it up all the time, which is another term that people just because we need to feel sorry for ourselves, right? What are you thinking? That's the whole point. You know what I mean? Yes, we are bang average without Harry Kane and Son.
You said we weren't going to finish. You said we weren't going to finish top 4, didn't you?
What, bruv?
Why?
The only reason why we're not.
Why did you think we would?
The only reason why we're in that top 4 race is because Man United are completely flopped.
But why? Why did you say?
And Leicester City and West Ham have played Europe. That's the only reason. That's the only reason. They've had injuries and that's it.
You are making the claim, bro.
Look this season when they've got no Europe, bruv. Look what next season
when they've got no Europe, bruv. Let's deal with this season. So, stop.
Okay, you want to deal with this? You want to deal with this season then?
Ideally, because we are in this season. I remember like 5 months ago, you came on my show and you were banging on about how fucking brilliant Leicester were, and they finished nowhere. Right? They didn't win the cup. You were talking about how great West Ham were going to be when they won the Europa League. They didn't win that either. Right? Tottenham, hang on. Hold on! Remember my point? And we're beginning. My point was about the Spursy thing, and I think Brian's point about the Spursy thing is that you have to look at like the history of the team, the Tottenham thing. However far back you want to go, you have to analyse the past to have some idea of what's going to happen. You yourself said Tottenham ain't going to finish top 4, bro. Tottenham aren't going to finish 70 points. You based that clearly on the idea that Tottenham weren't good enough. And you've come to that conclusion by looking at the past results. So you're saying that we can't look at past results and say that Tottenham have got the propensity to be Spursy. Yeah, you yourself have spent all season telling us that Leicester were going to do it because they were good a few years back, that West Ham were going to win it because they were still in the cup. None of those things happen, bro.
Alex, I have to say, Alex, before you respond, Alex, you have just been playing the weirdest violin. I've never seen anyone play a violin.
It's more of a shadow. More of a fucking shadow. Oh.
But off you go. Before you go, Alex, I just want to ask someone. Luke, are you a member of Worcestershire Spurs? Because if you are, I know the chairman, Darren Atwood, very well. He's a good mate. And I hope he's okay. I hope you all had a great day. I can't believe this. 52 of them had tickets.
That's
but got
insane.
stuck in traffic on the M40
so
and didn't get to the game. And I also want to big up, whilst we're talking about this, and then Alex, I'll let you go. Did you see what that guy did? And this is the absolute pinnacle of respect that I've got for this guy, and I've tweeted him. Let me just get it up. Ben Kaufman sent it to me. So at the Arsenal game, someone travelled 5,500 miles to get to this first North London derby, his first Spurs game, only to be found out that he got a dodgy ticket.
Yeah, the guy from Thailand.
For the guy from Thailand, yeah. And he went to put it in, and it got rejected. And then a season ticket holder that was there gave him the ticket for nothing. So that's insane. Not fair. So big up to that guy, man, because that guy travelled all the way from Thailand just to watch his first North London derby.
Yeah. It's a big thing. It's a big thing. The derby. It's literally a big thing. I was actually. You know what?
Now it's a big thing, Alex.
No.
Now it's a big thing. You were just saying a minute ago. It's not a big thing. Waffling.
Let me finish. My point is that in terms of the way the two teams at the moment, they're not very good. No, but as a spectacle of a derby. Yes, it's something that I wanted to go and see. So I can understand from that person's point of view of why they wanted to go and see the derby. And you saw what the whole thing about the fans on Thursday and the atmosphere and how the atmosphere between the two fans and stuff, the banter between the two fans, why you want to go and see a North London derby and being there in person. And for me, it was interesting, definitely interesting. There was a lot of people that were going a little bit over the top. That were a little bit over the top because there's one guy that tried to touch my, get hold of my clothes when Kane got the penalty, which I had to say to him, "Calm down, mate. Honestly, not today. You know what I mean? And he was cool afterwards, to be honest
These are
with you.
new threads, bro. New threads, bro. Take your waffle somewhere else.
But but in terms of what I'm saying is that I'm just frustrated when I hear people saying that, oh, it's a Spursy thing. Oh, it's this, it's that, it's this. Yes, we are bang average. I'm not going to lie about it. They are my bang average team. You know what I mean? Because I've gone through a lot.
We're not bang average, mate. We're not bang average.
We are bang average.
Beating
Sean,
Man
you've had
City's
your 20 minutes to waffle. You've had your 20 minutes to waffle. Let me talk now. You know, Mr. Boxer needs to speak now. Anyway,
Mr. Back Office.
Like I said before, it's good. Like I said, you got to give credit to and giving credit to Conte, not Parashi, Conte. So yeah, I'm giving credit to him because he's done an amazing job in terms of coaching, and you can see the
Mane just
as
missed
well.
the penalty. Sorry, against his international team.
Oh, mate, you haven't taken it from me yet, you bastard.
Never take it. Can you guys not tell me what's happening before it happens, please?
Sorry.
So yeah,
Oh, wait, let's find my bookies. Mane to Mr. Penalty. Mane to Mr.
So like I said before, I think it's good. You know what I mean? But I still feel that there are still things there that are covering over the cracks. And
Yeah, of course,
I've watched over the Arsenal game again, and the passing. I mean, to be honest with you, like I said, if it was a better team out there, like we would be found out easily.
A better team like Liverpool that we haven't lost to this year. A better team like Man City that we've beaten twice this year.
Well, again, how much possession do we have, bruv?
Doesn't matter about possession, does it? It matters.
But how much possession?
The result is what
matters.
matters. The result is what matters.
Tottenham don't play possession football.
I mean, it's a relevant point as far as I'm concerned.
But it's not irrelevant, Alex, because the result is what matters at the end of the day.
Yeah, it does matter.
How can you say?
They've had Champions League as well.
But Alex, let me ask you a question, right? Let me ask you a question. Hold on. Right, what is the aim of football, right? What is the aim of any sport is to win, right? So does it really matter how the fuck the team wins if they win? It doesn't matter because Tottenham historically in the last like 4 or 5 years, even before until Potts, right? They were never really a possession-based football team. They were always a counter-attacking team. That's how they were always good in transitions. That's what Tottenham have historically been. In the 70s, in the Bill Nick times, we were a possession team. That's what we were, right? That's what became push and run team. But over the years, we haven't ever been this Liverpool kind of style, Man City style possession-based football team. We've always been that counter-attacking, one of the best counter-attacking teams on the planet, in my opinion. I think we are.
Well,
right?
how much have we won? How much have we won then since you've done the counter-attacking team?
That's because we've never had the players to do it, Alex.
We've never had good enough players to do it. That's a weak argument. That's a weak argument.
No, it's not. How can you say you can't compare, Alex? You cannot compare Tottenham and Liverpool against Liverpool, Man City against Tottenham. Man City and Liverpool have got world-class players. We've got one or two world-class players.
And they get
Stop with the Leicester thing.
Don't stop with that. You know what I mean? Leicester City get good players. Where did Bayern come from, by the way? Where did Bayern come from, by the way? That went to West Ham. And look how he's playing at the moment, bro. It's about a system of, a philosophy.
Alex, you're the sort of guy that gets an invite to the Playboy Mansion and then complains about the colour of the curtains.
Oh, really? Oh, for goodness sake, Sean.
Enjoy the win. You got birds everywhere, bro. No. This average.
I know it hurts you, bro, but I'm talking more
average interior.
Sean, I have to say, Sean, I just realised you would be lethal with a megaphone.
Yeah, sorry, I'm shouting. Sorry.
No, mate. I love it. I'm just saying, that's your shouting. I'd love to. Mate, you should have been at the protest.
I apologise.
That would have helped me.
Apologise, bruv. You just need to be just listen and get bantered by me, bruv, all day long, bruv. You know what I mean? But anyway.
Hugh Hefner's on the phone. Hugh Hefner's on the phone. Alex, do you want to come round? No, thanks, mate. I was there last time. The grotto was filthy. No, Mambo, you got birds everywhere, bro. Enjoy the fucking night. Enjoy the moment. Nah, bro. Waffle.
Well, this is where I'm gonna leave it. After this, I'm gonna leave it. When people say just enjoy the moment, bruv, I enjoy the moment when I go on holiday, bruv. I enjoy the moment when I go on a wedding, bruv. You know what I mean? I enjoy the moment when I go to a club, bruv. Yeah. When I go to a soccer club, bruv, and start dancing and whining, bruv, yeah? That's me, bruv, yeah? You know what I mean? Going traveling all over the world, bruv. That's enjoying the moment, bruv. You know what I mean? That's enjoying the moment, bruv. So, like, this crap about, we need to enjoy the moment. You need to stitch the moment because we're going to get Champions League and then we're going to get a trophy. Oh, I love it so much. I want the Champions League so much. For goodness sake, honestly, get a life, for goodness sake. Honestly, what the hell is going on about?
That, Spurs fans? Get a life because you want Champions League.
What the hell is going on here?
Just quickly, Adrian, I'm going to speak to you over this week and try and get you try and work I just want to work out, Adrian, trying to get you on the show because we had our technical issues. Thank you for coming on the show, mate, and I'll be in touch with you this week.
Liverpool
yeah,
just won the FA Cup.
Adrian, I don't
Mate,
need,
I
I don't
don't
need
know yet.
therapy. Thank you very much,
Liverpool
bro.
just
Thank you
won
very
the
much.
FA Cup.
I don't know that yet. I still don't know that yet.
So the
It's all right. We're getting Champions League, boys. It's all right.
The
This is
quadruple is on.
to get a message out to Adrian. I don't need a therapy. Thank you very much. But anyway, moving on. I know that if it's too hot for you to handle, Bob, like I can do it. I can do it with you all day long, Bob. But you know what? I've got appointments here out there. You know what I mean? So I'm too busy for you, Bob. Anyway, moving on. Anyway, you know what I mean? So sorry, but if he's a nice guy, you know what I mean. But if you make comments like that, you're gonna get burned. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Get bantered.
Let's go round table. Let's go quickly round table. Just big up to my friend Wayne Holland as well. Who was your man of the match, Alex? And the fact you can't say the fans.
Well,
They were.
what is
We
it?
all know the fans were
The game.
The
against
Arsenal
Arsenal.
game. You'll be happy with my selection.
The referee had a pretty good game.
That's a good question, actually. I would say it's between Kane and Son, really. To be honest with you, it is between Kane and Son. I would say. I mean, I would say Ben Davies was very.
That's
impressive,
exactly who my choice is, brother.
I thought Ben Davies was good. I mean,
I
think, like I said, I'm still waiting for that apology from David. You know what I mean? And Will Stewart. You know what I mean? Because they kept on saying to me, this guy is absolutely useless. But he was talking sense. You know what I mean? He was talking sense. Oh yeah, Mr. Box Office. Okay. I mean, you know what I mean? So I do actually know what I'm talking about. Then you know what I mean? It's absolute joke that people chat absolute rubbish. You know what I mean? You know.
So like, honestly, who are you choosing?
Well, Ben Davies. That's it. Ben Davies.
Okay, you're going Ben. Sean.
I thought Davies had a good game, but I think you have to give it to Harry Kane.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know what? I've said it. Do you know what it is as well with me for Ben Davies? Obviously, he is coming for a lot of stick this season, all throughout his Spurs career on and off. And he's improved greatly this season. He has improved under Conte. He's been pretty much an ever-present in that position. And you know what? Then when we had Romero out, and we knew it was such a big blow, that defence had to be extra alert. Then you got to, like Holding, he picked up an early yellow card. But instead of the moment getting to him and the experience checked in, he was so disciplined and he made an incredible block in the second half like he did against Liverpool. And as I always say, if you're big enough to give people fucking criticism, you got to be man enough to give them credit. And Ben Davies, for me, deserves a hell of a lot of credit. And my second one as well, I mean, Kane and Son take it for obvious reasons. And another player that comes in for a lot of stick, Alex gives it to him. A lot of people do. And it's Højbjerg. Højbjerg was sensational. Absolutely.
He had a good game.
And Adrian, Danny, what about yourself?
He was okay. He was okay. He was okay.
Oh, Alex, you're fucking deluded if you would think he was okay.
No, he's okay. He was okay.
Congratulations, brother. Congratulations on winning the FA Cup. The quadruple's still on. And
congratulations, you ain't winning the quadruple and Klopp's a prick.
Yeah. There we go. There you go.
But
Danny,
I love you, Ronan.
Ronan's wicked. Ronan is a wicked supporter of all the channels. But yeah, Danny, who's your man of the match?
Yeah, I agree with Sean. I have to go for Harry Kane. I think he was by far the one that stood out. Mr. North London Derby man, Mr. Derby Day himself. I mean, every single time it's a North London Derby, he always turns up pretty much. He always scores a goal. And especially when it's at home, he just turns it up another level. And again, yesterday, he was so crucial to everything that was going through us yesterday. Obviously, Son was sensational as well. He was brilliant yesterday. Ben Davies, he had a brilliant game. Højbjerg had a brilliant game, but I think I'm going to give it to Harry Kane, I think, yesterday.
There you go. There you go. So let's now talk. Obviously, we've got top four race to talk about. We've got Burnley. I've seen a question come in saying, Alex, will you be happy with fourth? Let me ask you a double question. Will you be happy and do you think we'll get it?
I listen. I think we can get fourth. Yes. I mean, if you know my opinion on the whole thing, I don't really care, to be honest with you, whether we get fourth or not. To be honest with you, I don't think it makes a blind bit of difference. But yeah, I'll be satisfied.
In what way doesn't it make a blind bit of difference?
Pardon?
In what way does it not make a blind bit of difference?
Well, I don't think it makes a blind bit of difference, because I think if you know what you want in terms of players, you can just go out and get them. and if they want to come, they're going to come. If they don't want to come, they don't want to come. You know what I mean?
But do you not think-
To be honest with you, if a player wants to come to Tottenham because they've got Champions League, they're not worth it for me. They're not worth it. You know what I mean? I want players that are.
You will appreciate that.
I like players like Kulusevski
Get
who
some more.
are both rejects and Bentancur. But I need to say as well that we played the ultimate reject in what's his name, the centre midfielder for Arsenal. I forgot his name, Odegaard. I mean, honestly, he's the biggest reject. I've got to be honest, because I mean, how many times has he had loads of loans? You know what I mean? Honestly, so I mean, that's the ultimate reject anyway. You know what I mean? He's at Arsenal. And look how badly Arsenal are doing at the moment. Anyway, moving on.
I don't really
But yeah, my point is that I want players that I want to play for Tottenham. I don't have this whole thing about I want to be at Tottenham because of the Champions League. Because if Tottenham are not in the Champions League, what happens? You know what I mean? So
but would you at least accept that for players that don't have an affiliation to Tottenham, like players that just grew up in a different country that don't really, they're just looking for the next stage of their career, then the Tottenham draw, like the appeal of Tottenham, is increased significantly by being able to offer players who can improve us the fact that we can offer them Champions League. Even if we don't do very well in the Champions League next year and we end up getting relegated into the Europa League at the end of the group stages, you'd still rather that, because you'd be able to appeal to, you'd be able to say, we've got the stadium, we've got the training ground, we've got Conte, we've got Kane, we've got Son, we've got Romero. Look at the team we're trying to build, and we've got the Champions League. That is a bit more of a pull than be able to say all those things and then say, oh, by the way, no, we're not. We've only got the Europa League. We're playing Feyenoord rather than playing, I don't know, Real Madrid.
Like I said before, I think you made some good points, but I'm sticking to what I said before because I don't agree with that anymore. I used to think like that. I've said it on. I mean, I said it on the Football Terrace before, but my mind had changed after Mourinho left, because for me, and this is where I know I was right from the way that we should have kept Pochettino at that time. Don't need him now. No, don't bring him back because that's ship sealed. My point is that we sacked Pochettino at that time for Champions League. It wasn't trophies. It was because of Champions League. We didn't end up getting Champions League that season. We didn't end up after that season, the following season, not getting Champions League. Since the whole thing, the debacle, getting the managers in and everything else, and then getting Conte in, that focus has completely changed now. Now, you've now got people like Harry Kane, Son, who are now at the back end of their careers now, nearly going to the end of their careers now, going to the late ends of their careers. They need major trophies now to justify them being at Tottenham now. You know what I mean? Because for me, they're not here in the next couple of years saying to themselves, oh, you know what? This is really where I want to be at the moment because I've got this going, I've got this to look forward to, I've got this to look forward to, I've got this to look forward to. Yes, they can say they've got Conte as a benchmark to say, yes, this is where we could go, but there's no guarantee that this is actually going to work next season, because everybody knows that next season is going to be a very different and transitional season, in the fact that you've got the World Cup in the middle of the World Cup, middle of the season. You've got now we're going to be in Europe, whether it's Europa League or Champions League. So we're going to be playing 2 games in a week. So you need players that are going to want to be either sitting on the bench and come in and make a go at it, not players that are just saying, I'm coming to Tottenham because we've got Champions League.
No, Alex.
Great.
What you need is players who want to challenge for the first team.
Well, that's the point. That's the point I'm trying to make. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Players who want to come and sit there just because we're in the Champions League.
This is the point I'm making, because the thing is, though, you could end up like Manchester United. You could end up like, for instance, Chelsea at the moment, because Chelsea now, since Roman Abramovich has left, players has thought, well, I don't really fancy it anymore. But that's what it looks like to me. That's what it looks like to me, because the thing is, though, they're all up for it when I need to be very careful what I say, because there is a political thing here as well. So I'm keeping it on the football now. I'm not looking at the whole thing, because that's not where I'm going here. That's not my realm here. I'm sticking on the football here. My point is that look at the way that things have fell off at Chelsea at the moment.
Yeah,
the players are just not interested anymore. And now look at what's going on at Man United. Now you just heard that they've had there's been a fight in the change room now, on the training ground.
On the training ground, yeah.
So
Well, where?
you can
And
get
Man United, 2 players,
if
unknown
you've got
players,
the
had
wrong
a
attitude.
When was this? Yesterday?
yesterday. Yeah,
I think
on
I've seen
Thursday or something,
something,
yeah.
a little thing anyway. My point is that for me, it's about cohesion and everyone getting along, and it's working well as a small squad at the moment. And so for me, I just think it's about bringing in the right sort of player who've got the right attitude, and that's going to fit well for Tottenham, rather than getting some big guy who's got a big ego come into the club, and then he gets dropped because he's got a bad attitude, and he's toxic in the changing room. And
Okay,
just
so
because
who's an example of a player that you think we could get if we get Champions League, but we couldn't get if we only offer them Europa League, and then if he comes in, he's a bad attitude and a bad apple that's gonna ruin the rest of the crop.
Before you answer, Alex, I want to add just some important quotes that Conte's been saying in the last few days since the Arsenal win. One of the comments that I love, we all love Conte, right? Let's have it right. We all love Conte. One of the things he said is Champions League football is life changing, right? There's a lot of different meanings behind why he says that, and it's not just because of the players that he can bring and the quality of players that he can bring in, because he probably knows at the back of his head that that changes the money that you get that Daniel Levy is going to give him. And obviously, what the key is for me is that it doesn't really matter where we finish, to be honest with you. I know you've said this before, Alex. Obviously, we all want to finish in the top 4, right? But at the end of the day, realistically, right, it doesn't matter where we finish, because then it's all in Daniel Levy's court. The ball goes in his court.
Yeah, but you
right?
get 40 million quid more, Danny.
Yeah, of course.
Just by finishing 4th next Sunday versus finishing 5th. You get 10 million. You get 10 million additional prize money, 30 million in immediate money for the champion. Sorry, 10 million additional TV money, prize money, whatever, and the Premier League money, and 30 million just for qualifying for the Champions League.
I know. But what I'm saying is that we've got the money regardless if they wanted to back Conte to get in the players they wanted to get, right? I'm not saying go and spend 200 million pound on players, right? They could go spend 100 million and sell some players, and they'll still have money to buy players, right? So their net won't be like 150 million pound expenditure, right? So they've got the money to do it if they wanted to. It's whether or not Daniel Levy will sanction it if they don't get top 4. That's the key, right?
Do you know what?
Alex,
I just want to add on to that. And it's amazing you started talking about money and stuff just as Paddy's come on. Paddy, I'm keeping to my ceasefires. Don't you worry. Hope you're good, brother. What you got to remember as well when we go into this transfer market, and when it comes to wherever we finish, forget that. But or regardless of that, at long last, we have a manager that doesn't need the 70, 80, 90, 100 plus million pound players. He has a complete identity of the player he wants. The mentality is a huge part of it. This summer isn't about splashing a 65 on an Ndembele. And what this guy knows what he wants, and it's not just because of their footballing ability. It's their mentality, their desire, their strength, the attributes they'll bring off the pitch as well as on the pitch. He and his staff identify all this. So when we go into this, like Alex was saying about the character and everything, that's one of the main things that Conte looks at. One of the main things Conte will look at. So
it's really interesting that, to your point, one of the names that we keep getting linked with is Ridvan Yilmaz from Besiktas. He's only going to cost 10 million. He's already the chairman of Turkey's already confirmed, and this isn't a phrase to trigger Brian, because I know you're on a timeout with Levy, but he has confirmed that an English club has bid 8 million euros, but he's not accepting anything under 10 million. And if he gets 10 million, he'll let them go. And this player, is relatively benign. Like he's not someone that most of us will have known about. I've had to go and look at 5 or 6 different. There's a highlight video, which everyone's highlight video looks good, but you have to go and look at Besiktas's extended highlights on YouTube on various games just to see what he does when he's not on the ball directly. He does look like a real talent, and it's interesting, to your point, Brian, that if there's truth to it, that the English club is Tottenham, then maybe Conte has identified, or someone in his coaching staff or whatever has gone, that's the guy that can offer me what I want and maybe at first choice, maybe at second choice, whatever, but on the left side of the
Yep.
wing back role, and it's not going to cost an arm and a leg. So I take your point.
Conte
There's another one here. There's another one Adrian's just brought up. But yeah, you know what? That's not even going to
Singo,
I don't want.
Singo, another one. Yeah.
I don't want this guy. I don't. Want this guy.
I don't know enough about him. But with this 8 million, whatever, like you said, there's players out and about. I mean, when Leicester brought in N'Golo Kante for the ridiculous 5 million that he was, no one would have predicted how good he'll be. There are players there, and this is what Conte is the master at. Finding
Conte had, sorry to interrupt you, Bob, but Conte
No,
has to take
Interruct
charge
man
of the,
all the time.
Conte has to take in charge of the transfers. He's got to take charge of it because as far as I'm concerned, Parategy at the moment for me is getting lucky as far as I'm concerned. And he got lucky with those two signings.
That's a bit harsh, mate.
No, I'm not harsh. He got lucky with those two signs because that was because of Conte, and no, that was because of Conte making that decision. As far as I'm concerned, because those two players would not come into Tottenham if Conte was at the helm. Because the thing is, though, you can see exactly that he's all a bit.
What do you mean? Those players came after Conte.
No, because he's all wishy-washy, Parategy at the end of the day, and the proof is in the pudding.
He doesn't do laundry, mate.
Hang on, mate.
The proof is in the pudding that Juventus won. The proof is in the pudding that Juventus when Marotta left. The proof is in the pudding when Juventus left. I'm sorry. Someone said he's a proper director. He's not a proper director. He's a bona fide head scout. That's it.
You just said we weren't going to sign them if Conte was at the helm. Conte was already at the helm when we signed them.
Yes, but my point is that if Conte wasn't at the helm, we would not sign them. That's what I'm trying to say.
It's not what you said. You said.
Conte was not at the helm. We would not sign them because he would have said no. He would not know what to do. He would not know what to do whatsoever. Yeah,
but you don't know who the next manager was going to be.
Pardon?
You don't know who the next manager that Nuno would have, that Paratici would have been signing. Nuno wasn't going to.
No, yeah, but he doesn't know. He's got no clue. Sean, I'm sorry. Right, he might prove me wrong in the next couple of transfer windows, but
how are you saying he's got no clue?
My point is that I don't think he has a clue. The only reason why this is working with Parategy at the moment is because of Antonio Conte, because he knows what he wants. Right, as soon as things were not clear at Juventus when Marotta wasn't there, because some people say that Parategy needs to do all the deals. Well, that's not going to happen. It's going to be Levy that's going to be doing the end of the deals anyway. Look at his time at Juventus. So, you know what I mean? I don't want to put you to sleep, Sean, because I know I'm talking you out under the table. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? But you know, if you want to go to sleep, because I'm batting you all over again, Bob. It's all day long, Bob. It's all day long, Bob. But like I said before,
what was I asleep?
The history.
My eyes closed for a minute.
The history.
Sometimes I have to close my eyes because it helps me tune out the nonsense and the waffle that I'm hearing. Waffle. So explain to me when it was that Paratici understood what Conte wants. When did that happen?
Right at the end of the transfer window, because he wasn't impressed by him during the transfer window.
Conte wasn't at Juve, right? Conte was at, where was he at? Inter. When is it exactly that Paratici and Conte have had this working relationship before, where they figured where they know exactly what he wants?
My point is,
no, your point is absolute nonsense. You're making massive presumptions. They never worked together before.
Okay. You know what, Alex?
Come on, bro.
You know what? Before we go there, Amir's put a question in, and you still haven't answered it. I just remembered. I said, "Will you be happy if we get top four?" But you didn't answer. Do you think we're going to get top four?
We should get top four, yes.
You also didn't answer my question.
Yeah, that's the point.
Okay, well, I'll answer Sean's question in a bit. But my point is that, yeah, we will get top four because we will beat Burnley, because Burnley are not the same now without Daesh, as far as I'm concerned. They're not going to be defensive anymore, aren't they? And you should beat Norwich, who are their
So-
championship. So yeah, we should get top four.
Are
Yeah.
you saying then? Are you saying, Alex, then that Arsenal are going to drop points at Newcastle? Because this is one of the things we're going to come on to anyway about the
Yeah.
Arsenal game and stuff like that. But
Oh,
do-
Danny,
so-
before we get on to that one, then can I just ask
come on,
Alex?
let's
I'd
do
love
that
to
then.
I want to hold Alex accountable for some of the things that he says,
Go on.
and I want to dig a little bit deeper. Alex, you said that finishing top four changes nothing, and if we actually finish top four, you've somehow dressed it up as a disaster waiting to happen, because by
Big up,
finishing
David.
top four, we're going to end up. We're going to end up.
David,
Waffle
mate.
bar,
Honestly,
bar,
Hold up.
You could try it
Hold
all
up.
day long, but I can ban you all day long, but
Focus, Alex. Focus on one.
Focus on you. Focus on you.
Focus on
Yeah,
one
yeah, go on.
banter at a time, bro, because you're losing this one big time as well. Just
really,
deal with,
really
deal with
funny.
this banter first, right? You said that if we finish top four, that we're more like, somehow you've dressed it up as a negative, like that somehow we're going to attract players that in the future, if we don't finish top four, they're going to be trouble, that we're going to have a nightmare. Whereas if we finish fifth, we're going to be able to attract players that want to be here and not players that only want to be here for Champions League. And I've asked you to give, even though that sounds ludicrous to me, give me an example of a player that we couldn't get if we only offered them Europa League, but we can get if we can offer them Champions League. And yet you think is someone that Conte would want, Conte would get, and yet in a few months' time is going to be toxic for the dressing room.
Dybala. Straight away, easy, Dybala.
Okay.
Well,
I think
apparently
that's a
Adrian
problem
was in
waiting to
London.
happen.
That's an answer. I guess that's an answer. I asked for an answer. I got one. It's fair.
You got one. Yeah, you did.
It's actually not a bad answer as well, to be fair.
It's not. Sean's agreeing. He's fucking agreeing.
No, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I do think that Dybala is more likely to come if we finish fourth and fifth. Excuse me, guys. 1 second. I just got to jump. Sorry. 1 second.
Go on.
Cool, you do what you got to do. Just let you know, there's a couple of people. I've started a couple of questions. If you have any good questions you want answered, get them in, and then like the last half hour or so, we'll rattle through them. So if you've seen your comment hasn't been brought up and it was a question, I've started a couple of them. There may be a couple coming at the end. So get your questions in. But go on, Daddy, where were we?
It was a great answer, Alex, by the way, mate. Well done.
Sean was asking about it, like the players that we maybe would need to get in to kind of improve the squad. But I wanted to kind of elaborate on that question actually. So like to anyone really, do you believe that it really makes a difference if we do get into the top four or not in terms of the quality of players we can bring in, but also bearing in mind that we can afford the quality of players, but do you think it actually makes a difference in terms of bringing in those sort of maybe better, slightly better quality type of player? I want anyone who wants to answer
okay, listen. Like I said before, I used to think like that. Yeah, it does bring in good players. It does, but like I say, when you look at the symbol of the whole thing, you're not winning nothing. And like I said before, this club needs to start winning stuff. You know what I mean? Because it needs to get. Because the thing is, though, we can say whatever you want about West Ham not winning the Europa League and Leicester not winning the Europa Conference League, but it was very, very close, wasn't it? And I don't want to be in that situation again. I don't want to see what Leicester did last season. I don't want to see it. I think we should be doing better than teams. Better teams should be doing better than those teams. And now you've got, and I'm not really worried about Newcastle in a sense, because I just think they've got a long way to go. They need to start. You've got to give it a bit of time, and we'll see what happens next season, because now people know about them now. You to see how they take to the pressure. They still haven't got Europe though, so they might be very dangerous next season. But teams like Leicester, they've got that family, family sense about them. Teams like West Ham at the moment, they were very close to winning Europa League for me, and I don't want to see that again. So I think for me, Tottenham need to stop this participation in competitions now and start really participating to win. And that's the thing now, because I think that's where the change of the mindset will be changed. You see what I'm saying? And I think that's what's happened with those sort of teams like Leicester, for instance. They've got a sense of knowing how to win. You know what I mean? And knowing their sense of identity, how to win as well. And I think that's missing. And I think this is where I think we need to be trying to get this, understand this with Conte at the moment, because whether I don't really enjoy the sort of football we play. I think it's very functional. I think it's very, but in sense you still have to respect Conte, because the way that we are playing at the moment, the way that we are, the way that he has coached the team, and he's got a system in place. You've got to admire the way that he's done that. You know what I mean? The way that he's changed the mindset and stuff. So for me, yeah, I think it's more better for Tottenham to go into competitions that they've got a chance of winning, because I think that's giving a better mentality to those players that are in the squad, and gives them a bit more confidence to go further. You see what I'm saying? So, and that's just my opinion. That's it. So winning Europa League is better than going to a little later stages of the Champions League, getting knocked out, and then having to try and catch up to try and get back into the Champions League, if you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm trying to say.
Alex, I completely agree with you on this one. Don't get me wrong, I'd love us to get Champions League. But at the moment, with the state, the squad that we have right now, do I think we could win the Europa League? Yes, with this squad. Do I think we could win the Champions League? No. Later stages or out of the group stages, yes.
Brian.
If someone said to me, Danny, right now, next season, you win Europa League or you get the latter stages of the Champions League, I am choosing Europa League every single goddamn time.
Can't you do both?
I'm gonna argue that. I don't think we can win the Europa League.
I don't think you can either.
We're not. We don't have a strong enough squad. We cannot win We cannot win.
This year was an anomaly. Like West Ham, Rangers, Frankfurt.
Yeah,
it was a weird one this year. Like none of the teams that dropped out of the Champions League did as well as they could have done or should have done.
Yeah. You
know, Leipzig obviously did well, but
you know the difference, Sean, right now, and Danny. The difference right now, and why I say yes, we could win it, is next season. There's one thing that's going to be the whole season, which is, please God, which is Antonio Conte.
Brian, yeah, but we've been pretty lucky. Say that, Brian. This season we've been fairly lucky with our injuries, right? Harry Kane, touch wood, has made the whole way through. Sonny was only out for a small spell.
That's what I agree with.
Do you know what?
When we got to the Champions League, it papered over the cracks.
I'm going to.
It was a lucky run to get to a final of a cup. Isn't 38 league games?
How bad are we? Sorry.
I just want to argue this point, right? I want to argue this point because, like, this is the first time I don't normally disagree with Brian, but I completely disagree with you, Brian, because the thing is, right, if you got to look at Antonio Conte, right? He's a domestic title. He's a domestic club type of person, manager, right? He thrives in domestic cup competitions, in the leagues, but he's never historically done well in Europe, right? When managing a team, I know he got Inter Milan to the Europa League final, but he did lose it, right? That was the first European Cup final he got to as a manager, right? Now, that was a good Inter Milan team with depth, right? We don't have depth. There is no way Antonio Conte, right, will always focus on the title, on the Premier League, right? Premier League and domestic cup competitions. The Europa League, if we win the Europa League, that would be the last thing on his mind to win, right? Even though it gets you Champions League football, it will be like one of those things where it's a background target, right? If we can get there luckily, or we somehow manage to get there because we've got no injuries or all that kind of stuff, and we can rotate and the rotation players do well, then maybe. But there's no way in hell this Tottenham team, right, can win a trophy like the Europa League and compete in the Premier League for top 4 unless they've got a deeper squad. There is no way they can. We're struggling to compete for top 4 with the squad that we have right now. We haven't even got a bench, right? So unless they bring in like 6 to 8 players, we cannot win it. I think we can't win a trophy unless unless they focus on the FA Cup or something like that, on a knockout competition like that, or they somehow get lucky with injuries or something like that. That's my opinion, right? Because you got to remember, right? Our form with Conte has been better because we haven't really had European football. Really, we only had it at the beginning of his tenure, and then we got knocked out because of COVID, right? That was pretty much the reason why we got knocked out, because we didn't have a deep enough squad once again, right? So there's no way. So for me, I cannot see this team winning a trophy.
So, Dave,
right?
This squad is nowhere near good enough.
let me
Nowhere
throw
near
it
good enough.
Danny, let me throw it the other way to you. If Conte had been here from the start of the season, are we in the top 4 already? Done.
100%. 100%.
Exactly.
Yeah, but Brian, you're saying that, right? We're saying this, right, based on if he's focusing on the Premier League, because if he had to focus on the Europa League, right, he would have used players like Harry Kane and those type of players. What happens if they're overused because they're playing 2 games a week
mate,
now?
you
right?
know what
and then
I say
you're playing
about
the
this.
FA Cup.
That's
I know,
why, that's why he agrees. We need 6 new players.
Yeah,
we need
easily.
to drop half of the team down to squad level status and play them in the League Cup, the FA Cup
100%.
early stages, and whatever European Cup tournament we qualify for.
Half of that team who were playing against Arsenal, right, should be bench players, should be squad players, right?
Yeah.
Half of that team should be squad players.
And
They're
if
the
they
ones
are,
who
then if we can drop Ben Davies, as much as he was fantastic, if we can drop Dyer, if we can drop Emerson or Doherty,
Or bring in another striker
Chesney,
to change Kane, give him a rest.
whatever. If we can relegate and Højbjerg or Benacourt, if we can get those players to being first team / squad players, and we have 6 other players in the team that can also be first team / squad players, then we got a chance to do well in either the Champions League or the Europa League. I think the Champions League is probably a season too early, but we can't do it right now. I don't think we're just too threadbare.
Before we start, right? Should you show David's comment to Alex? The
Yeah, I
Marmite
did
one?
put it up.
Oh, you put it up, yeah. Alex,
Oh,
you read
yeah,
it?
but David just needs to stop hiding, and then I can banter him again. You know what I mean? So anyway, let's move
Well,
on.
look, I said to David, I know he's got a show. I know he's got a show tonight. So, David, if you want to come on for 10, 15 minutes or so, you're more than welcome, mate.
Honestly, I don't need to be banter time.
Alex is calling you out, David. He's calling you out.
No, because David needs some. If David wants to
You
banter,
literally just said, stop hiding and come on, and then you don't bring him on.
No, you know what I mean? It's like
It's a flip-flop.
Time needs to keep on going. You know what I mean? And I've got a point to make. You know what I mean?
I don't think he knows what post he's delivering today. He's like delivering.
Here we go. Anyway,
he's lost a post.
Let's get back
He's
to what I
lost a
was
post.
trying
He's
to
delivering
say.
to the wrong addresses.
I need to say something. I need to say something because
Second class delivery.
I need to say something because something just really gets on my nerves when people start saying this. We need to stop talking about this Harry Kane and Son thing at the moment. Like, we need to stop it. I'm sorry. The focus needs to be on the team, right? People need to step up. You know what I mean? Because this is not going to go anywhere. You know, the point is, if you've got 2 games a week, it's now for other players to step up. Now, either you get other players in, or you try and get the youth system better, as far as I'm concerned. So youngsters can step up as well, because this over reliance on Kane will only go one way and one way only, as far as I'm concerned, and that's it. You see, because it happened against Arsenal, we're relying on Kane then again. You see what I'm saying? We rely on Son too much as well when he runs in behind a lot of the time, and there's only so many times he's going to be able to do that, because that pace is going to go. That pace is going to go, and then we'll see what. Then we'll see whether he's going to be more effective after that as well. And then everybody's going to start bigging him up a lot of the time as well.
You think Sonny is pure pace merchant? Do you?
Well, his pace is important, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's got the knack. He's got the knack and everything.
He's
a fantastic player.
Only under the new Korean rule change. He's going to be a year younger because he's a year older than everyone thought he is.
I don't want to get into the whole. Thing.
Sorry, I know I live in Canada, but I've missed out on the Manchester United fight. Yeah, and now apparently Kim Son is not as old as he thinks.
He's 1 year younger.
So all South Koreans have there's like a rule with the way that they're born that basically they become one on the Korean New Year. I might completely butcher this explanation.
But it's different. Okay,
he was born in August, and you're born at 1 year old, and then because of the Korean New Year, he was technically 2 before he was even 1 in our terms. And the Korean president or the Korean leader, I'm not sure, or South Korean, leader or South Korean president, I'm not sure what the political names are, has basically said that they're going to scrap that and go to traditional normal aging. So he becomes a 28-year-old or a 29-year-old. Whatever age he is technically now, he's actually a year younger than that, as far as I understand. Which makes me think that he's got a year more pace in him. And also, people don't lose their pace until they're 33. You know,
Yeah, I
so
mean, well, that will depend. I mean, that varies.
his pace should be able to see him through
It
at
should
least
see
half
through.
of
If he
his
starts
contract.
picking up hamstring injuries as regular as Michael Owen did, then it's going to go kind of thing. But before we carry on, hour in, super chat from my brother, my Canadian brother, and his kids, the Free Spurs boys. Everyone subscribe to that. Subscribe to Bob Spur. Subscribe to and Bob Spur's in the wall. As I don't know if you saw that comment, Danny. It's on at 10:45 tonight for everyone else, but 9 o'clock for you. So make sure you're there at 9 o'clock. And yeah, legendary panel and legends in the chat. Hope everyone's having a fantastic Saturday to you all. From Bobby K, Big K, Little K, Common You Spurs. Mad love for that man. Man love.
Brian,
love
I really hate to say this to you, but I was on a call with Bobby K earlier. He didn't actually say this verbatim, but I'm picking up reading kind of between the lines. I think that I'm actually the Little K and Big K's favorite uncle. They call me Funkle Sean, because I'm fun. I'm the fun uncle. So
I'm called Uncle F, man, because the first couple of times they saw me and it was a bad Spurs games, every other word was fucking. I think you remember what the other word was. And it's amazing that I didn't edit out the swear word. I left that word out because of my ceasefire with Paddy, man of my word. But yeah, no, mate, that's a different show. Well, we won't even go into that. But yeah, so big up to Bobby.
Big up the K family. Big up the K family.
They're honestly an incredible family. They really are. Where were we?
Can I? I want to add if anyone actually does, there's so many comments coming in. If anyone does want their question discussed by us, it'll be really helpful if you can get in a super chat. We understand, obviously, not everyone can, but if you can, it does really help out the channel, and we will discuss it, and we'll have the post office see which way he's going to deliver post on that question as well. So yeah, if you want to hear the postman in full force, then get those questions and super chats in.
Postman Pat. I'm going to get the video of like that cartoon, like going over and up the hills, and just put Alex's face on the side of the van.
Right. It's Mr. Bots office, right? Courtesy of Mr. Bots office. That's going to anti you all day long, bro. You know what I mean? And then Mr. David Harris, who chats absolute waffle as well. Anyway, moving on. We don't want to give him any more. Can I just
add to this? I want to add to this, right? Because Marlon makes a really good point, right? Because he's saying like the players that we're talking about, like who want to be squad players, can't just turn it on when needed. Most of them need a run of games, like Ben Davies, and he's actually spot on. To be fair, like a lot of these players, right? It's another thing that I think we kind of sometimes forget is that some of these players who are like playing right now and they're playing kind of quite well, better than they can normally perform. If they are players who are fringe players, then maybe they might not play as well as they're playing right now as a squad player. So that's a good question, which then would probably mean then is that those players we want to be squad players will have to be upgraded at some point to get a better quality player who can compete for the first team. And if they are squad players, they're going to bring a better level than what we've got now.
There's two answers there, though. One is you just rotate. Well, I've got no problem with Ben Davies playing against Burnley, playing against Norwich next season.
Yeah,
I'd rather have De Vrij or Pau Torres in his place to play against the biggest and best teams. You also want those players to be able to adapt, right, and be able to go, okay, I'm part of a squad now. Liverpool players have it, Man City players have it. Yeah, those players are the best players in the world, and they come and change.
The best team, like you just said. Just quickly, that comment from Marlon works with every player apart from Davinson Sanchez and Harry Winks, who get worse with the more games they play. Davinson Sanchez, who for me, and people know I'm a very, very good supporter of him, and I've always said I think there's a player there. And even when he was playing when Dyer was injured, or Romero, sorry, I was picking him up. But he starts off the first few games well, but it's after he's had a few games where these issues start to come in. That is what Marlon's saying is bang on right. But there are a few players where it's actually the reverse.
Yeah. And Sanchez.
I think Winks gets a hard. Listen, I'm not his biggest fan either, Winks. Yeah, but the point is, I think it's a bit harsh of saying we all know what the problem is with Winks is. Yes, people say that he's not very good. I think it's just that he's playing in a defensive role and he's not that defensive sort of player. You see what I'm saying? I don't think he's any different to Højbjerg. I've got to be honest.
No,
I don't think he's any different to Højbjerg. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, I'm just going to say this. I'm going to say this. Yeah. He's no different to Højbjerg because I'm sorry, he played well against Liverpool, right? And he did well a little spell, and then he got a little bit. Then he stopped playing, and that's where it went wrong. I think
He's
he does
awful,
need. I
mate.
think he needs. I think he needs game time, like Marlon says. I think he makes a very, very good point. I think he needs game time, and I think that's what with lots of players need it. And I think there needs to be a balance. This is a difficult thing, you see. I think Liverpool have got this balance done very, very well. But those players that are doing the squad players have been there for quite a while. Quite a while. You see what I'm saying? You bring in a player to just be on the bench. That's a very hard thing because if you get a player that's in their prime, they ain't going to be happy but sit on the bench.
But next
This is the
season
whole thing.
next season you got 5 subs, right? So you can give these players more time, even if it's 20 minutes here or there at the end of the games or whatever. You can bring in more and more rotation.
Yeah, but
So
it's
I think
still-
you'll find
even-
that with an improvement in the squad and you relegate some of the current first team just to squad level, that doesn't mean that they're not playing. It means
No.
they can still get
Yeah,
10 minutes
but
here,
the
20
point
minutes
is,
there.
Sean, think about it from the mentality of the player's point of view. Now, honestly, it's not about. Yeah, obviously, it's not about just we all
That's
think
me bringing the comment up, but I can't miss a Superman comment out. Believe me, when I get revenge on this bastard, I swear to God.
Sorry, go on, Alex.
What my point is that as fans, you look at it from an outside view. You're saying, "Oh, you should be just grateful that you're playing. You've got a chance of playing." You know what I mean? But for a player, their mentality is now. Some players will have that mentality of thinking, you know what? When I get my chance, I'm just going to go for it and give my all, and that's it. There's some players that need a little bit of a hug.
Match
and just
fit.
give them
Yeah, I get it. I
you
get
know
what
what I
you're
mean?
saying. Yeah.
And this is the thing. I think there has to be a balance in terms of what sort of players are going to be, whether they're going to fit well on the bench and be an impact player. Because when you look at what's going on with Bergwijn at the moment, they've been saying that he's not doing well in training at the moment. Well, I understand why he's not doing well at training because, like I said, look at the times that he's done well. He's got benched after it.
That's a good example.
What are you supposed to do? Just to play devil's advocate with Bergwijn. What are you like? I agree. Like for me, if it's true that Kulusevski is sick for tomorrow, personally, my solution to that, I don't know if we're jumping ahead if we're going to talk about that, but just if we're not,
We can do. Go.
I'd personally would put Sonny on the right and then play and give Bergwijn 90 minutes. I know that the attitude thing, it might be true, but we've seen that Son. First of all, we've seen that Son can score more goals with his left peg this season than with his right. Yeah, this season, right? But he hasn't really ever given that role a shot, and maybe it's a little bit too risky to experiment. And I'll take the argument that if that's how you feel, but I do feel like next season we are going to need to have a dynamic. If Harry Kane's the front guy and he stays central, we're going to need to have people that play that can interchange. Whether it's Sterling, if we sign Sterling, whether it's Sonny goes across to the right to make room for Sterling, Kulusevski can drop back, whatever. And I wouldn't mind seeing. I would rather see Bergwijn start tomorrow than Lucas Moura.
100%.
And I think that Luke Bergwijn in his best position is on the left, and I think that Sonny could do a good job on the right. So, and I think it's also a way to keep the teams guessing. I bang on about this all the time. Yeah, predictability is a problem. So for me, like I still think Bergwijn's leaving at the end of the season. But my question to you, Alex, you understand why Bergwijn's got, he's pissed off. He's not got enough time. He's done well in a couple of minutes here. West Ham game, he played really well in the cup, did really well against Leicester. I acknowledge all that stuff, but if he plays on the left and you've got Sonny, what are you supposed to do? And I'm all for the meritocracy argument, right? If you're good, if you play well, you should. If it's your chance, it's your position until you lose it. But with Sonny, like he's so consistent and he's so good game in, game out. What can Bergwijn do? Like, should Conte give him a chance and drop Sonny?
You know what? You make a good point. I mean, I think
very good point,
it's difficult to let go of drop Sonny and Kane because they're the biggest influence in the team, aren't they? I mean, whether I like it, I don't like that. I think it should be a team thing, and that's just me. Because I think that works well and that wins you championships, in my opinion. I know that I think Moura will play tomorrow. I don't think. No,
I agree with you. I think he will play. I wish he didn't, but I think he will. Yeah.
I don't think he will. You know what I mean? And like I say, it's not. Moira's a very nice player. He's a very good player. He's a good, nice player. sorry, I don't want to make it offensive if anybody doesn't like the word nice, but my feelings on
Who
him.
doesn't like
Alex,
that is definitely the most deluded thing you said all night. Who doesn't like the word nice?
I know there's like
Alex.
woke, there's
I
woke,
know
and then
there
there's
could be a better
fucking joke.
description. I know there could be a better
Alex, that's very
adjective.
nice of you.
Pardon?
That's very nice.
It's very nice of you, Alex. Very nice of you.
I just thought
You got to
there was
be
a better
careful. There's
adjective.
a couple of people out there that don't like the word nice, and we can't offend them.
You know,
You can't, Alex. Can't say it. Sorry.
There could be a better adjective to describe it. I don't know what else to say. But my point is that Moira's just not.
He's a cute player, right? He's a cute player, but he's not very effective.
He's just not effective enough.
Yeah.
I've told you before.
Yeah,
He's the Brazilian Darren Huckabee. That's exactly what.
That's a brilliant description. That's a brilliant description.
Mate, that's why I've been calling him for absolute years. And look, if Bergwijn doesn't start, he's gone. It's as simple as that for me tomorrow.
Bergwijn's gone anyway.
Bergwijn's gone anyway.
The problem is, who do you like? You probably say Mora's head's more at Tottenham right now than Bergwijn is, but who's the better player? In my opinion, right now is Bergwijn.
I think you get rid of both of them.
I actually think both are going to go. I think both will go.
One thing I do,
you could raise 40 million quid for the pair of them.
I think if Leeds go down, right, go and get Rafinha. Fucking go and get Rafinha.
Where
are they going to get the money from, Brian? Where are they going to get the money from?
Mate, Barcelona, mate, what you remember?
They haven't got the money here.
Mate,
Brian, they're talking about selling Frankie de Jong to Man United because they haven't got the money.
Mate, whenever it comes,
they're not going to go and sign Rafinha.
I find the money.
They
always seem to find the money.
Real Madrid, because of the amount of money that they bring in for tourism into that country. Believe me, this is why they get their debts are so high. But mate, can you imagine if a club gets £850 million in debt here? The debts are called in immediately. Like, no. This is Barcelona and Real Madrid.
Barcelona were bailed out of their debt by a Goldman Sachs loan, weren't they? And a Saudi injection. So
they will always.
It's not as clear as
yeah, but Sean, you got to agree with me that them two, when it comes to them, somehow they will find the money.
The Barcelona, Real Madrid are propped up from the Spanish government, or at least they have been for the last 20 years. Like it's madness how they get the money to do what they do, but whatever.
Exactly. But we've had a super chat come in.
We've had two super chats. So do you want to get the first one, Brian, and we'll discuss that?
Yeah, we've got the bottom dudes coming in, who's a great supporter of the channel.
Big up
So suppose we sign Pau Torres, who is quality. Would you sign him straight away instead of Ben Davies, who understands the system better and hasn't done much wrong? Or would you slowly transition him into a back three? And he did make a typo. Would you play him? Sorry about the typo there. So yeah, if he comes in straight away.
Can I answer this first?
So
do you know what, right? So with this one, right, I think, look, whoever we sign, they have to train hard. They have to show who they are, show what they're about to the manager, right? I don't think just because it's an expensive signing or a better quality player doesn't mean they're going to necessarily get into the team just because of the status of them or the status of a transfer, right? No matter what happens, they're going to have to prove to Antonio Conte that they deserve to be in the team. Now, if they show him in training more than what Davies is showing, whether that's technical ability, more aggression, they're just better defensively, they're more positionally aware, whatever it is, if they show Conte that they're better for that game or that opponent we're playing, then I trust whatever Conte does. To me, I trust whatever he does because who are we to say that that player should be playing or that player shouldn't be playing? Because we're not managers. He's an elite manager. He's won elite trophies. So with this particular one, I think no, I don't think that he should go straight in. It all depends for me on who is showing him the desire to want to play in that team, to go out and give 120% for that badge every time they play. And I know Davies does give. He's always given effort. He's never one of these players who he lacks effort or desire. Right? Davies is the type of player who always gives 100%. The problem with Davies is his ability. Right? That's it. But look, he has been a solid player. He's always been like. We always said Davies is one of those Mr. Reliable players, right? He's always given a 6 or 7 out of 10. Sometimes he gives the odd 8 or 9.
He's a nice player.
Yeah, exactly. He's a nice player.
Can I just
He's
add
a
to
nice
that point?
player.
Can I just add to that point?
But yeah, Alex. So I want you to
Can
hear
I
what's
just add-
your
can I-
thoughts on this, because I want to hear
can I
everyone's thoughts on
Can
this.
I just add my point on this, because I think Roy Keane summed it all up in Sky Sports News, Sky Sports. He says, you've got your your team, and you got your
Back in a second.
pros. You got your pros, and you got good pros, and you got some pros that are not good. Davies is a very good pro. You know what I mean? When he was not playing very well, he was a very good pro. The same
He is a
person
pro,
I
yeah,
could
you're
look at
right.
it as well.
He's trouble-free, isn't he?
I think the same person I would say about this as well was Vertonghen, for instance. He's another great pro. Yes, he did decline.
It was class player as well, though. He had
he had
should
the
be
right
very careful what
attitude.
people say about Jan Vertonghen around me. He's my second favourite player of all time.
Yang Vertonghen was a
Tottenham.
professional,
love
but
that
he's also an absolute
Ledley King, for
world-class.
instance. Ledley King, for instance. You know what I mean? A good pro. You know what I mean? I mean, another player that people will not like me saying, you know what I mean, if he stayed at Tottenham and didn't do what he did, is Sol Campbell. You know what I mean? If you had somebody like that as a good pro, if he was there,
But that's what. So Davies being a good pro is the sort of player that you still want to hang on to in the club. If you do bring in a Pau Torres, sorry, mate. I'll say this when it comes to my turn. Sorry, I'm interrupting tonight. I do apologise.
No.
Go on, Sean. Go on.
Go on, Sean.
Okay. So I feel like Ben Davies is a sort of player that you want to hang on to, because he as a pro, he's literally super easy to work with. Apparently, everyone loves him in the dressing room. He could drop down to the bench and not moan about it. He'll get on with his job. And if Pau Torres is signed in June or July, whatever, and he's got 2 months, I would imagine that in that 2-month period, because I think his quality is absolutely out of this world, and I think that you could literally sell Harry Winks, raise 10 million, 15 million for him, get rid of someone I think most of us don't want, nearly everyone doesn't want, and then offer them the 15 million quid you raised from Harry Winks or Cameron Carter-Vicker money, right? That's only 10 million quid. Put that in the pile, and then offer them the 25 million that we've got from that, and Gio Lo Celso to Villarreal, and we've got rid of a player we've never even seen, a player we don't want, another player that was toxic and that doesn't really belong here, and then we get Pau Torres in, and I think it would literally be as net zero almost in terms of cost. Get a player in, and then if he has 2 months in the summer to show what he does in the training, I think that Conte is more than capable of figuring out whether he's ready to immediately start or whether it should be a battle based on a meritocracy. And I use that word all the time because I hate the idea that a player is, if he goes off injured, the second that he's fit again, he comes straight back into the team.
I don't agree with that either.
Brian, me and you and Dave, Irish Hotspur, and Jack had a debate on the Irish Hotspur about when Romero was injured and he was coming back in, and it was whether or not Sanchez should be dropped immediately. And at the time, Sanchez had put in a lot of good performances.
Yeah.
And Dave was like, "Nah, the second that Romero's fit, Sanchez is out." And I think we all were in agreement, apart from Dave, and we're saying, look, until Sanchez makes a mistake, it doesn't have to be a big mistake, but he has to at least make one mistake to justify the change. Otherwise, you are sending a really bad message to the squad that there's certain people that it doesn't matter what you do. And it's kind of like back to the Son Bergwijn conversation. Sonny is undroppable. Bergwijn doesn't matter how well he plays when he gets his chance. He's never going to be in Son. He's never good enough to lace Sonny's boots, which is a reality. I don't agree with it, but Sonny's proven it time and time again that every time he gets on the pitch, he scores goals and scores assists. So he proves his worth. But I think with Pau Torres and with Davies, it should be a competition. But I think that in the competition, Pau Torres will prove that he is good enough to start most of the important games.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll have my one before we do the next.
So let's move on to the next one. So yeah.
No, let me do. I've seen what the next super chat is, so I know what it's about. So I'm gonna have to be careful. But no, what I think with like what Sean was saying with Ben Davies, I've said it all along with Ben Davies. When we've been talking about all these bad eggs and players that aren't good enough, we can all guarantee and all assure us, even the people that were saying that they don't like Ben Davies, the one thing you can guarantee is he was not a bad egg. He's not one of those that are causing shit in the training ground. He's not down in tools, or he's not one of those players.
No.
For me, with this question, if we get Pau Torres, it all depends when we sign him. If he's there for first day of pre-season, he walks straight in because he'll have Conte's 6-week training under him. He'll be up to scratch. He'll know what to do, and he is no doubt a higher caliber of player than Ben Davies. There's no one in the world that will deny that. But if we do a normal signing at the end of the window, and then it's literally he's got to catch up to speed, then you have to ease him in. Because he's coming in. He needs to get up to train. Conte's kind of this is why like people like Pochettino always wanted players in early, so they can get them a pre-season ready for it to go. And like Sean was saying with Sanchez and Romero, it also came down to what Romero was coming back from was a very serious injury. Yeah. It was a grade 3 or something hamstring. Sorry, whatever it was.
5. It was a quad muscle, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
And if that goes again too early, he's out for the season
that's
again.
The kind of game when he's back and he's fit. He may be fit as in ready to play. He ain't match fit. And with those kind of injuries, you have to ease them in. Because if you bring him back because you rush him back, like Sean just said, if that injury goes again, it's kind of cutting your nose off to spite your face. So my answer to this question is simply, if we sign him before pre-season, Pau Torres walks into the team. If he comes after pre-season or near the end of the window, he needs to be brought up to speed on the, in my opinion, on the training.
The pace, right?
Exactly.
He's coming from the Spanish league as well. The only thing I worry about is a little bit is how many times we sign players from the Spanish league that are just not cut out, like they're just not ready for the difference, you know?
Yep.
But
exactly.
The thing is, right? The thing is, I'm a big firm believer in it's not about where they come from, what league it is. It's all about the player's mentality. That's the key, right? Because we've signed Ericsson from the Dutch league, right? Look what he turned out to be. One of the best Premier League central attacking midfielders that we've seen. If you look at his stats, he's the only one who's got if not the same amount of sorry. He's got like nearly just as much as assists and chances created as De Bruyne. And he's one of the best ever at Man City. People are arguing at the moment about that. So it doesn't really matter where they come from. It just matters about the type of player he is and the mentality of that player. Because if the players have got a strong mentality, right? They can adapt to any kind of given league. That's just my opinion. I agree.
I agree. Of course, 100% it's about the players' ability to adapt. It's just there's some leagues. If you've done well in certain leagues, you're used to a certain style of play, and then the transition from that league to the Premier League might be easier or more difficult depending on what league you've come from. But ultimately, the best players in the world, you become the best player in the world if you're good enough to adapt. Then you can adapt, right? Yeah. And so I listen. I am a massive fan of Pau Torres. I saw Bob Spurs said he wasn't a big fan of him. He gave him a Kleenex at 5 out of 10 rating, which I think is a really funny analogy.
But okay, so Sean, the reason behind that, I don't know, you may not have heard it.
I've never heard it before. No, I love it.
Okay, the reason behind that, and after I've given this reason, we'll plug your 2 channels and then we'll do the other super chat. The reason Bob says that is when we were linked with Romero, Bob was pretty much trying to get a sponsorship deal with Kleenex because he said every time I hear his word or hear his name, all I want to do is reach for the Kleenex. So when that's Bob's saying, you got it right. He's not keen on it. But Alex, whilst we're here and before we do the next super chat, Alex, plug your channel.
It's Alex THFC. THFC. I can't promise that a lot of things are going to happen with it at the moment. I am taking a little bit of a hiatus from it. It's before anybody says anything, it's not because people are having a go at me. Because to be honest with you, I can banter anybody all day long, bruv. Because I'm here all day.
We love you, Alex. We love you.
It's not because of that. I can tell you that,
Alex. We do. Oh, yeah. Alex, we love you.
Yeah. Even though Dan, you're deluded. Anyway,
you're a postman.
But
missing all the deliveries, mate, all the time.
I've got to be honest with the audience. That it is taking a little bit of a break. There will be some odd videos. Sometimes, yes, there will, which is going to be sporadic. But yeah, at the moment there is a little bit of a break, a little bit because priorities, and I'm not going to get into it. So that's it really. So yeah, that's my channel.
So
Sean,
I
over
put,
to you.
also before you say anything,
Yeah.
I've put the links to Alex's and Sean's channels in the comments as well, so you can go over there.
Yeah, but
and
Danny,
smash that
you said
like and
Sean's
subscribe.
channel for both of them.
No, Sean
Oh,
and
wait a
Alex.
minute.
I said.
Oh no, sorry, I'm just don't
Brian,
mind me.
shut
I'm
your
being
mouth,
stupid.
you.
I'm
Shut
being
your
a dick.
fucking mouth.
I'm being a dick. I'm being a dick. Sean, over to you, brother.
You shut your fucking mouth.
Keep my channel's name.
Out your motherfucking mouth.
Keep saying it. Keep saying it. Yeah, guys, you can find me at Spurs Talk Show. Hashtag all one word. Hashtag no spaces. Because we know what happens if you type in, letters or spaces between those Spurs Talk and Show. You find a San Antonio Spurs basketball channel that hasn't posted in 4 years, yet their subscriber count keeps going up. What's happening, people? I don't understand it. Either way, you can find me at Spurs Talk Show on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. I just broke the 1,000 subs benchmark thing a couple of weeks ago now, I think it is. So now I'm on to whatever next milestone. On my channel, you can find vlogs from the match days when I go and little clips with fans and things that I met on the day, which is always good fun. And then also take my dog for a walk like most days and then get whatever Tottenham news is off my chest. And Bugsy often asks me some pretty good questions. And then every now and again, occasionally I'll do panel shows. I should be doing more of them, but I prefer to be on other people's shows because I get to give my opinions. When I'm doing my own show, I feel like I have to ask the questions and I have to pinch my mouth a little bit, and it's not quite as fun for someone who's as talkative.
You're less Shawny, Sean.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but yeah, Spurs Talk Show. You can find me. Thanks, guys. I love you all. Thank you.
Right,
there we go.
So big up. So please, everyone, please go and subscribe to both of those channels because they are brilliant, and you'll get some really good content there as well. And I just want to say, guys, there's 110, 12 people or so watching. I've only got 51 likes. Come on, guys, what's going on?
Outrageous!
It's outrageous. I want everyone
to
to absolutely smash that like, please, because honestly, it really does help us out, and it helps the algorithms. It helps us come up more. It helps us give you be a better channel, and we can obviously help provide even better content and have more absolute failed deliveries from the postman down below me. So what more do you want? What more do you want? So
yeah, but also,
please smash that like, everyone.
We are 30 subscribers away from hitting 4,200, so we're on the mission to get there. And thank you for all your support. And now we've got this super chat that I know.
Hold on. Before you go, Brian, I just want to say thank you very much to Bottom Duder for that super chat because it was brilliant and it was a great question.
Great question.
Really good question. So yeah, if anyone else has any really good questions they really want us to kind of discuss, then please, it really helps out if you can actually chuck in a little super chat, and then we can bring it up for you guys. And so Brian, do you want to get the next super chat or yeah?
Yeah, go on, I'll bring it up. Okay, Tom, thank you very much. And Tom,
big up, Tom.
Lads, do you wholeheartedly think Levy will back Conte in the summer? 100%. Thank you for the great show. Absolutely love them. Keep up the great work. Well, thank you for your support, Tom. Who's going first on this one?
I think should we show Alex? Let's Alex answer this one first. Alex, what's your thoughts on this one, mate?
I think for me, it's really kind of again. I don't think it really matters whether he backs him or not, whether it's a case of him backing Conte. I think it's more on the work of what Prodigy and Conte are doing, and then seeing whether the work that they're doing is right in terms of getting the right players in that Conte wants, because that's the operative is Conte wants, and then Levy listening to him at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Because like I said before, this is not just about players coming in; it's the whole mentality of the club. Because at the end of the day, there's a reason why we've not won a lot of trophies. There's a reason why we just won Carabao Cups, because the club is run completely wrong. There is no way of moving forward. And if you want to move forward with the club, where you're not afraid of teams like West Ham and Leicester City going above you, and Manchester United, Arsenal, or Chelsea and Manchester City and Liverpool going ahead of you even further, or other teams going above you like Newcastle, for instance, because they've got loads of money, you've got to start listening to the people that have been successful in these sort of occasions. And so for me at the moment, it's not just about just listen, backing Conte. It's about learning what he's all about and moving that forward. Now that's where my focus is on with strategy, for instance, because like I said before, I'm not convinced he knows that. I think he's got Conte in the building and Conte's driving it forward for us, and that's it. So that's my issue at the moment. Really, I'm being very careful about me saying about Levy because I've got huge respect for Brian Dagul and Danny, even though he's deluded. I've got huge respect
bro?
for those
Coming
two.
from you. Yeah,
And-
he don't fucking respect you, Sean. He
No,
don't
no,
fucking
no,
respect you.
No, because the reason
Fucking
why Sean,
Hey,
calm
tell
down.
me why, bro. Tell me why.
Calm down. I've got respect for you, but you know what I'm talking about because you know how much Diane doesn't like Levy, and Danny doesn't like Levy, and Brian, this guy here, speaks from the truth, and he does what he says. You know what I mean? So I've got huge respect for this guy, and he gets a lot of flack, which is not granted whatsoever. So I will back him all day long. You know what I mean? So this is the thing. I'm saying that respectfully to these guys because he will come over and do what he says and preaches. You know what I mean? So you know what I mean? So because I'm at the end of the day, I can't be asked for talking about the whole thing anymore. To be honest with you, you know what I mean? I've heard people that saying that they're not going to the stadium because they don't want to give the money to Levy and stuff, which I understand a little bit. But at the same time, when you miss moments like you're going to the derby, like the derby like on Thursday and missing those moments, you know what I mean? You're missing that sort of moment, and life's very, very short. You know what I mean? And you can't get those moments back. You might be waiting for a very, very long time until Levy leaves. You see what I'm saying? So
He's not going anywhere, in my opinion.
so this is the point I make. You know what I mean? So, and like I said, I have to say this again, emphasize this point again. This is not against people that are Levy out or Levy, and I don't care. It's not, and it's definitely not against Brian or Danny or anybody, Stelios or anybody, Graham, any of them, because especially Graham, because Graham's a fantastic guy, by the way. Big up to you, Graham, by the way. Yeah, big up to you, Graham, if you're listening. So yeah, just even David Harris as well, even though he's deluded. You know what I mean? So it's just like I said, it's all those people. It's got nothing to do with. It's nothing to do. It's just personally, life's too short. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm getting a bit too personal here, but life's too short. So that's why I can't go in about Levy, and that's it. And
Alex,
that's the only reason.
So will Conte be backed in the summer?
Well, he should be back. Yes, he should
be.
be back.
He'll be backed. Do you think he'll be back to 100%?
I don't think he will, no. But at the end of the day, Levy brought him in, Strategy brought him in, because they wanted to, move on the club. Now, you know what Conte's all about, you know what I mean? So for me, you've got no choice not to do it, because the thing is, though, and this is where I got a bit annoyed when we were on Bob's, again, I'm big up to Bob Spur, by the way, because it's a fantastic show, by the way. Someone said to me, kind of said to us, just completely diluted our point when we said about Everton. Said, oh, we're not going to do an Everton. We're not going to do Everton because our finances are fantastic. It's not about just the finances. It's the principle. You see what I'm saying? Everton have gone through how many managers, top managers, and now look at the position they're in at the moment.
600 million quid in 6 years, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that can be easily Tottenham. That's why I want Everton to stay up.
It can easily be Tottenham, yeah.
That can be easily Tottenham. It doesn't matter whether the finances are great at all. It's just the principle of it. Is that you've gone through how many top managers. Now, this is the last chance saloon for top managers for Tottenham. You know what I mean? Because I've had to take things back. I didn't like Mourinho. But it looks like, from what I've heard, Mourinho wasn't the toxic one. He wasn't the toxic one, from what I've heard. Even though he should never come to this club, it was the assistant that was the toxic one at the end of the day. So this is the thing. Going back onto the point, we can quite easily do an Everton. Very easily if Conte leaves. Because they've got no idea what to do after that. Because what they're going to try and do is get Poch back. And look how bad that's going to look on how bad that's going to look on the club. You know what I mean? So for me, He's got no choice but to back Conte. You know what I mean? He's got no choice but to back Conte as far as I'm concerned. So, you know what I mean? So if he doesn't want to end up like Everton, because there are clubs at the moment that can overtake Tottenham, and like I said, I don't want another West Ham situation, a Leicester situation again, and seeing West Ham win the FA Cup again. I don't want to see that again, right? He's got to do something about it right now. You know what I mean? So this club can move forward, and that's it. And this needs to continue. The philosophy needs to continue on after Conte as well, because this is the point I make. Because this is the mistake that we didn't do with Poch, and that's the whole point. That's the problem. The same mistake that we made when Martin Yeo was in charge as well. You see what I'm saying? This is the thing. And when you see teams like Leicester City doing what they're doing at the moment, when they got rid of the last manager, then got rid of the last, and then brought in Brendan Rodgers. Look how they've moved forward completely now, and they're on par with us at the moment. Sorry if I've gone a little bit too far, but that's
They're not,
my
they're
point.
not.
No, that's all right.
Leicester are on the decline, mate.
I want to ask.
Jordy boy?
I want to
I've
ask
got
Sean.
this, I think you
Go
go.
on. No.
Sean,
Yeah,
then
go on,
you.
Sean. Yeah,
Yeah. Do I think Daniel Levy will back
Conte
in the summer? Yeah,
100%.
I'm not sure
100%.
I'm not sure what 100% means.
100% means giving Conte everything that he asked for.
If everything that he asks for fits within the budget of which is available, and I think, from Daniel Levy's perspective, I think there will be an extended budget. I also believe that Daniel Levy, like there's variables, right? So the one thing that I am terrified of is that we go and back to Alex's point about what happens after Conte, that there is a variable, which is Conte doesn't hang around very long. If things start to go sour, he disappears. And the one thing I don't want, again, to Conte, to Alex's point now, but to Brian's consistent point since I've known him, which is, I've always said it's a great point, is the biggest problem with Tottenham is the flip-flopping of managerial styles, which means you have square pegs for round holes. If we go and sign a Pau Torres, for example, who plays a left-sided centre-back, we don't know if he can play the left of a two centre back in a back four. And if we go and spend a lot of money on what Conte hopefully wants, but then suddenly Conte gets, it's not quite enough or whatever else, and then he leaves and we bring in a Poch or somebody else who plays a back four, then again, we're screwed with players that we don't know if they're going to fit into a new system. So I just want, whatever happens after Conte, I want a consistency, not just within the philosophy, but also within the formation for as long as possible, so that we can see if these players can actually fit and move forward. But do I think that's going to happen this summer? Well, if you asked me in February when I heard all those press conferences that were going on and this flip-flopping, we win, he's like, I love Tottenham. We lose, I'm not sure I can do it, all that crap. I didn't like any of that. I couldn't stand it, if I'm honest. I was like, shut up, man. You sound like a volatile child. But now I feel like, I think he's bought in. I think he's fallen in love with the fans. So I do think Conte's going to stay. Well, do I think he'll be back to 100%? Like I said, I don't know what 100% means. I think if it comes down to, does Conte get what he wants? As long as what he wants is within a certain budget, and whatever that budget is, I think it will be larger than we've ever spent before. I think there is more money available this summer than there ever has been before in a Tottenham summer window. And so on that basis, I think that the backing will be there. And I also think that Daniel Levy will also probably, I hope, be more reasonable with his negotiations on player sales. And he might accept cutting his losses on certain players to get them out, rather than holding firm on trying to recoup all of his money that he spent on bad transfers, whether that's on Sanchez, whether that's on Ndombele, on Lo Celso, even on players like Brian Hill. I think that there might be an Emerson, if that's the case as well. I think there might be an eye-opening where he goes, okay, you know what, I overpaid, so therefore I'm not going to demand the same money back. So I think that there's going to be more reason and a bit more openness to that. And so on that basis, I think that he will back Conte. And if that's what 100% means, then yes, he'll back him 100%.
See, do you know what, Sean? I probably agree with you, to be honest with you. I think there's an element to this where the last in the pre-match press conference, Conte was saying about how like he wants to build a team. It's going to take a few years to build a team to challenge for the title and all this kind of stuff. the way he's kind of starting to talk now is starting like it sounds more like he's starting to think about planning for the long haul for Tottenham. And I don't even think this is like another year. I think this is 2-3 years, if not more. I think he's thinking in the back of his mind. I think personally that Conte is now, he's found a club where
do you think maybe he's maturing, getting older, and wants to settle down? Like he's had his girlfriends and now he's looking for a wife.
Do you know what it is?
You know?
I'm going to tell you what it's part of that, right? But do you know what it is? I think he's found that love, right? Where it's a good love, like it's a good love, and he can get more out of it if he works on it, sort of thing, right? If he works well with what he's got, right, and works well with the board, right? I think he knows he can achieve what he wants to achieve, if they give him the tools to do it, right? And I think that what Conte is the type of guy. What I see from him is that although he is a winner, right, I think it would mean more than anything to him if he could do it at a club like Tottenham, who is an underdog, right? Yeah. Who is a club that's historically not, in the last 20, 30, 40 years, have not won lots and lots of trophies like the Chelseas and the Cities and the Uniteds and the Arsenals. And I think it would be like the best pleasure he could ever have if he could get Tottenham to a team that's won a Premier League or won.
It would also make him winning GOAT status, mate.
Oh God!
Pep Guardiola walked into Barcelona and won everything. Walked into Man City. Exactly. He's never done it with a second-rate team in the Premier League or in any league.
If he wins the Carabao Cup, though, he's not a legend still, though.
No. Let me finish. Right, it's not Carabao Cup, right? I'm talking about the proper trophies, the FA Cups, the European Cups, the whatever European Cup it is, the Premier League, right? Because we all know Conte's main ambition is to win a Premier League. That's what he wants to do in England again, right? He wants to win a Premier League, and he'll only stay if he believes that he's going to get the tools to kind of achieve or be like his words is be competitive in order to try and achieve that feat, right? That's what he wants to try. And I think that it would mean more than anything to him if he could do it with a club like Tottenham, because we are the smaller club compared to the others. And I think the sense of achievement would be more than anything he's ever achieved at any club because of how difficult the job is to do it, right? And I think that in terms of him being backed in the summer, I think we're going to see what I'm hoping, right? Obviously, people know my thoughts on Daniel Levy, right? And same as Dagul. But what I'm hoping is we're going to see something that we haven't seen before. I know we always say this, right? But the reason why I'm saying this is because I've seen Daniel Levy get rid of Dele Alli for free. Serge Aurier for free. Terminate his contract. He would never in a million years would you have seen fucking Daniel Levy getting rid of a player for free, especially Dele Alli, right? And the reason that's happened is because Paratici and Conte are working together and obviously said, look, this is for the better of the club, the better of the team. We have to get them out no matter what. And rather than even trying to get 5 million, what he's done is he's enlisted Paratici to be his negotiator for the deals, right? Daniel Levy will sign the dotted line, but the one who does all the negotiations is Paratici, which is hence the reason why we got Bentancur, hence the reason why we got Kulusevski, hence the reason why Ndombele, Dele Alli, Lo Celso all left the club.
He's coming.
Right, but what I think is right that he'll be back to, like you said, Sean, to an extent where if it like they're going to give him a certain amount of money, right? But I reckon that will be added to by the sale of players, and stuff like that.
But
and I think they'll say,
also believe that the baseline amount, whatever it is, if there's
will
no
be
player
higher.
sales, will be higher than we've ever seen.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that, and I think that happens even regardless of what happens. Is Alex trying to swim or something? What's he trying to do?
He's playing the violin again.
You know, come on for yourself. I'm just saying that. But as soon as he said that, he said he's doing the big negotiation for Pratici. Pratici, the fact that he's offload those players for free just shows you how inept he is, bruv.
No, Alex, he's not fucking Alex. That's not inept. That's not Alex. That's not inept. That is not Alex. Alex, that's not Alex. That's not inept.
Sorry, but what are you talking about?
Okay,
getting
Okay,
rid of a
here we
player
go.
before you go, Brian. Right, getting rid of a player, right, who is toxic to the squad, right, which we've never
it wasn't
seen.
toxic,
But hold on. We've never seen Daniel Levy sanction a deal to get rid of a player for pretty much for free, for
It will be for
fucking
free.
free.
It will
right?
be for free. Everton aren't
It will
gonna
be
play,
for free,
Everton
right?
are not going to
So
play
basically,
him enough, I don't think.
he gave Dele Alli away for free. If Paratici and Conte were not there, that would never have happened. Never in a million years would that have happened.
I agree with that.
And I will bet my house on that.
Prodigy's the one. Thing is, though, it's an absolute disaster. That is an absolute disaster. But that is Prodigy, right? The reason why
we needed to make room in the squad.
And the reason why Bentancur and Kulusevski came in is because of Conte, right? I'm sticking to my point. I'm sticking my neck on the line on this one, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I'm not got the inside track on it. Yeah, because people will say to me, they've got the tier 1s, they've got the tier 2s, they've got everywhere. You know what I mean? But for me, in my opinion, that is because of Conte. Because he knows what he wants.
What tier would you consider your opinion to be?
But I don't really give a damn, Bob, because as far as I'm concerned, I can back myself all day long, bro. My point is, yeah, right? And Danny, you're going to listen to this. You know what I'm talking about here. So you better listen to me and look at me when I'm speaking to you here. You know what I mean? My point is that, look, listen to me. Conte made that decision. Prodigy had no idea. He said, oh, this is an option. This is an option. Conte said to him, get me those players. That's what he said. You know what I mean? If that was Nuno, it would just say, maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, but hold up a second, Alex. I'm pretty sure.
Don't know.
I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that Kulusevski initially didn't like Conte because Conte turned him down at Inter.
Oh, please. Oh gosh,
I can get it.
Whatever.
I'm sure I can find that.
Oh, well, I don't really care. Oh God, who cares?
Let's hear what Brian's going to say, and then after that, Brian, we've got to move to some super chats because we've got a few more super chats to get through as well.
So I've got my ceasefire with Paddy Harder, but a question's been asked, so I'm going to do this very, very calmly and very, very right. First things first, Antonio Conte. There is no doubt in my mind whatsoever, and I think everyone can agree. And we've all said it, he has a connection with us. And I think the only time he's ever had a connection, which you could actually guarantee, was when he was at Juventus, which is a team that he's actually played for. It's that kind of connection. You saw it. Someone said it in one of the comments. You saw when people started singing his name and he walked out and he loves everything at Tottenham. He loves everything at Tottenham. Is he going to be backed is the question. You touched on it as well when you said transfer. It's when we say backed, for me, backing isn't just players in, it's players out. And it's this time, let's use Harry Winks as the prime example because we all know he's probably going to be one of the first out the door. Harry Winks, let's say Levy said he wants 25, 30 million for him. If a deal comes in for 15 and Conte says sell him because I need this money to go get this one, it's whether Levy turns around and says, right, I am going to take a lower hit on these players so I can help you with the amount of money coming in. This is a huge part of getting players out the door. Danny, when you said Dele went for free, technically he has gone for free, but that was based on appearances for Everton. Money comes in. That has categorically backfired on him big time.
Yeah,
big time. So that's not him letting him out for free. He said, right, because Everton, and Sean will back me up on this, they are so fucked with financial fair play, they could not buy him. They had to wait until that's the way that deal has been structured.
Correct.
But it's been structured that has not helped Tottenham at all. That's in fact we could have sold him for 5-10 million this summer.
We could have, yeah.
But obviously I understand getting him out because he's a bad egg. Now, when it comes to is he going to be back this summer, for me, I broke it down into 3 categories. The first one is the money there? Is the money there? To an extent, I believe it is. To an extent, I believe it is because we all know we can spend up to 4, whatever. But to an extent, I believe it is. Do I think the number of players, 6, is possible and Levy will back him? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Because I think he knows if he doesn't do it, there's going to be problems. Where I think this whole issue lies, and I've said it before, is Conte wants players for now. Not one for the future. Not, let's get this guy and bring him up. If he says, I wanted to write, I'll give you the prime example. when Poch first came in, and I've used this one time and time again, he said I wanted Morgan Schneiderlin. I want Morgan Schneiderlin. I've managed him at Southampton. He does it. Whether you think he's a good player or not, that's the player I want. He does what he was brilliant for Southampton. He's fantastic. That's who I want. That's who I need. He does the job I need in my system. He gets my training. He's been with me. He's done the training and the preseason, the grueling things he has. He plays the role I need well. He does everything I need. He's like, okay, so you want a defensive midfielder? And he went and got Benjamin Stambouli. He's done this time and time again where it's like, I want this player. Not a younger version, not a cheaper version. I want this player. Now, the one that I can use for obvious reasons is De Vrij, which is the one that won't go away and hasn't gone away for a long time.
Yeah.
His age does not fit the model of things that we normally do.
But for 15 million quid, if it's 40 million, hard one. 15 million,
I agree.
Right.
No-brainer. No-brainer.
Yeah, for us, it's a no-brainer. He comes in, he's ready, but there's no resell. The last players we were signing at that age were people like Louis Zaha and Ryan Nelson, when we should have got two other players. We've brought in these players. We don't do this. Conte's not here to say, I honestly believe Conte could be here for a good few years. Like you said, Sean, I think he's found his wife. In the analogy you gave it, I think he's had his girlfriend. He's now found the one he wants. And I think for me, everything comes down to, if he says I want a De Vrij, go get him a De Vrij.
Yeah.
If it's 15, 16 mil, don't do what you're doing with this Yilmaz. You're dealing with a player that Conte knows. Look, he fits everything for Conte. He's won a league with Conte. He's played under Conte. He's got for playing with Conte. He fits every single thing that Conte wants. So when it comes to backing, and Sean will back me up, I've said this all the time. With Conte, it's not 300 million. Like when we've had managers before, we need these elite players. We need these elite players. We need these elite players. Some of these elite players, like a Bruno Fernandes or whatever, may not have the mentality and the desire.
Look at him now, right?
Exactly. To fit into
what's happened to him this season? It was just
so
insane.
my whole thing with backing Conte is twofold. Is he allowed to say, right, I've got a player, there's an offer that's been cheaper than what Levy wants. Can I sell so I can add it to the bundle I've got to do this? That's a huge part for me. And second of all, does a De Vrij walk in? Does a player that's above the 24, 25, and it's not, we don't do this, okay, we buy these ones for the future. It's like, right, if this doesn't work, they've still got resale. We've still got resale.
I'm starting to question whether that's even true anyway. Like, are you going to get your money back on Emerson?
Exactly. No, this is the
probably
thing.
not. Are you going to get your money back on?
You probably won't get all your money. You're going to lose money on all those players, right?
But
you just
Brian Hill. Are you going to get 30 million back for Brian Hill?
Probably not.
Probably not. So this like buying for the future and paying up anyway.
Oh yeah, sure. It hasn't worked, but
it hasn't worked, does it?
It hasn't worked. But then, Danny, if you just bring up one of the star comments, not one of the super chats, where me and Sean have spoken about this many a time. The money for Romero has got to go out. The money for Kulusevski has got to go out.
Yeah.
Is that already put aside? Is that part of the summer budget?
So we owe 60 million quid at the end of this year. So most, like 99% of all transfers, you will pay off in installments over the course of the contract. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
We already owe 60 million pounds at the end. But no, not for those two transfers.
Oh, okay.
We already owe 60 million. If you look at the THS, the Supporters Trust breakdown of the finance that they released in February, I think it was. There's like an addendum to it that said we already owe 60 million at the end of this season on total like left of outgoings from previous transfers, and that probably means a little bit of Ndombele's money, a little bit of people like Sanchez's money. Little bit of Lo Celso, so there's 60 million quid's worth of cost apparently that has to come out at the end of this season, just on the residuals of old transfers from 3, 4, 5 years ago. So you won't have to necessarily pay off Kulusevski right now or Romero right now. We'll make them permanent, and then we'll just factor that in over the next 4 or 5 years or whatever. but we do owe a massive lump sum on previous transfers doing that installments plan that I just explained. So that's probably not Romero and Kulusevski. That's money for Endom, for Lo Celso, for Brian Hill, for Sanchez, for whoever else.
Can I just say, Brian?
I just wanted to add one thing, Danny, when it comes to this. So when it comes to the question of being backed, the way I've seen it and the way I've said it is, let's just use that number 6 because we know he said he wants 6 players. For me, do I expect us to get all 6 that Conte wants? No, I don't. Do I expect? Like I said, all the time I've said, if we get 4 players out of 6 that Conte wanted, and 2, let's just say, one's for the future, for me, that's a good window. For me, that showed if it's over 50%, if Conte was just saying, I want these 6 players, and 4 of them come over, 3 of them come in, so 4, 5, 6, obviously, then I would say yes, he's been back. Does that change my stance on how I feel? Not a damn bit, because he's going to need to do it for at least 5 years straight, where a manager is constantly backed, gets what he wants, and like I said, over 50%. So do I think that's going to happen? And I'm not just saying it because of what I say. I just don't. I really want it to, and I think it could, but my heart of hearts, I just can't. I can't see it. Will I be the first one to come on every single channel and go, do you know what? He's had a good window? Yes, I will. Because like I said, if I'm man enough to criticise, I'm man enough to say well done. And if he gets over 4, over 3, then I'll say, do you know what? Good window. You back Conte, well done. Let me see this continue. Do I think I'll be doing that? Danny, you've known me for a year now, and we've been on streams when everything I've said and you have said has come true. No, it's going to take a long, long time for me to say, right, do you know what? I think he's doing. So unfortunately, it's a no, but it's not a straight no. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I want to say it's a brilliant super chat again, Tom. So thank you very much for that, man. And we've got another 2 more because we're gonna have to wrap up in about 10 minutes or so, guys. Because we've all got some other things we need to get going on, and then so let's just bring up Jim Bird's comment. Let me just bring this up now. Where is it gone? Okay, right. So Jim was saying, great chat again, guys. Love the debate and banter. Just subscribe to Sean and Alex. Big up, man. Keep it up.
You know what? He's a great guy. I think I first saw him on Henry Wright's channel. And then he came straight over to us. He's actually a really, I've never spoken to him or whatever. I've spoken to him in chats and everything. Really, really nice guy. And thanks for your support and for supporting the guys, Jim. Really nice of you.
Yeah, big up, Jim. Really appreciate the support from
Thanks, Jim.
all of everyone here. It's brilliant because without you, people like you, mate, we couldn't do this. So it's all because of you guys, which is why we can do this. So thank you very much for the support, man. It really helps the channel a lot. So I appreciate that a lot. And we've got another super chat as well from Adita as well. So Adita is saying that should we somehow group fans into agreement on no season tickets and kits till the transfer deadline, till Conte is back. Time to save. So look, we've got to be kind of brief a little bit because I know we're kind of running short on time now. But my opinion on this is that it's a big discussion because the problem is, right, so look, I'm a season ticket holder myself, so is people like Stel, so is We Are Tottenham TV boys, a lot of us are season ticket holders, a lot of content creators and fans, because the reason why we're season ticket holders is because we love our club. We want to see our club play football week in, week out, and we're lucky enough to have the opportunity to get a season ticket, right? Because the problem is that if Daniel Levy or the board was to leave in, say, 5 years' time, for example, if I was to give up my season ticket right now, right, I won't get it back for another 15 years, 10, 15 years. And for me personally, I don't want to wait till I'm 45 to next go and watch my team week in, week out. I want to be able to go and watch them every week when I can, because that's because I love my club. And that's the thing. Unfortunately, that is the harsh reality of the world we live in and the Premier League era that we live in. It's all money orientated. So regardless of if it's me or the next guy who's buying a season ticket, someone's going to have it. So why would I would rather have it because I want to go. I've got the opportunity to have it.
Because we're all hypocrites as well, aren't we? In life, everyone's a hypocrite.
Everyone is, right? Apart from Brian Dagul, maybe. Apart from Brian Dagul, I'd say. But look,
But Brian will be a hypocrite in other things. In life, everyone is a do as I say, not as I do preacher. It's just the way. It's the way the life works. We all.
Yeah, I mean,
everyone wants the people that are richer to pay more taxes. But if they say, "Well, how about you?" Well, I don't know. Like in life, generally,
that is true.
everyone,
That is
everyone
true.
is a hypocrite.
I mean,
That is
listen,
true. But can I just add to this as well, right? I think with this, something like this is extremely hard to do because you're not going to get every single Spurs fan in the world to kind of back a movement because it's just unrealistic. It just doesn't happen. It just won't. It's just not something that you could control people and say, right, every Spurs fan, stop buying merchandise, stop watch. You're basically it's saying every Spurs fan who lives abroad internationally and can only watch games through TV subscriptions and stuff like that. You're basically saying stop buying TV subscriptions to go and watch Spurs. No one's going to do that because every single Spurs fan wants to watch their team. Regardless of how they watch it is a different story. But essentially, you're still paying a means to buy to actually watch the game, right? Because you support the club and you love the club, and not the fact that you're helping Daniel Levy with money side of things. It's just the nature of the business, unfortunately. That's just the way it is. I know some people disagree with it. I wish we could do this to start a movement to kind of to try and force them out of the club. But the problem is, it's not feasible. It's just not in this modern world, unfortunately. I don't know what you guys want to have your say on this.
Just a short and sweet point here. I think for me personally, I enjoy being at the stadium. You know what I mean? I ain't got a season ticket, but I enjoy being at the stadium because I can come to my own conclusion seeing what I see. You see what I'm saying? Like seeing Romero being the world-class defender that he is. You know what I mean? The way that he plays, the way he's calm, the way that he's very assertive, the way that he uses initiative on the ball and everything else. And he's very comfortable on the ball and starts attacks and stuff like that. You don't see that on TV. You don't see that on TV. It's not easy to see that on TV. So for me, it's better to be there in the stadium in person because you can make your own conclusions. There's a reason why, and people say that he goes on a little bit too much, but yes, sometimes he does. But he's a great journalist, and his YouTube channel is absolutely fantastic. Alistair Gold. There's a reason why when we weren't allowed in the stadium, people were listening to Alistair Gold because he picked up on little things, little nuggets that happened in the stadium that no one knew about, and he was the only person that would say about these things. You know what I mean? So. For me, I don't buy food in the stadium if I can help it because I can do things at home.
Because
you know what I mean? So
the food sucks.
Exactly.
Beer
So
sucks.
It sucks.
Like,
yeah, it does suck.
Listen,
So
I love food. I love booze. Yeah, I don't buy it in the stadium because it's awful.
It's awful.
It's
awful. And the thing is, though. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to leave it there.
I get tanked up outside the stadium before I go in.
Well, I don't drink anyway, so I'm allowed to say that. Yes, but at the end of the day, I mean, I'm to be honest with you, no, the foods I wouldn't do that. No,
food is so bad at times.
No, I wouldn't even go there. But the point is, and this is nothing against anybody who can't go to the games because it's a very hard world out there at the moment. Everybody knows that, and also around the world. Do you know what I mean? If you can't just go and take a plane and go to the stadium, can you? You know, TV is the only way to see it. So for them, I understand where you have to watch TV. You have to watch it because you can't come to the stadium easily. But if you can go, please go because it's an amazing experience, like you saw the derby. But my point is that no one's telling me not to go and see Tottenham because I'll miss moments like London derby. Even though I wasn't impressed with the performance from us, that atmosphere, you can't get it back, mate. You cannot get that atmosphere back. You know what I mean? It's not going to be the same at Burnley. It's not going to be the same at Burnley. You're only going to get that at the London derby. You know what I mean? I might be a hypocrite saying, if we're in the Champions League, yes, I'm trying to go to every single game, though. Yeah, bro. You try and stop me. If I've got the money and means to do it, I'll do it all day long. Even though I'm not interested in the Champions League, I still want to go because I'm
literally thinking about moving out of where I live to a place in North London simply because I hate the journey home after the game so much, and I love Tottenham so much. Yeah. I'd rather move my entire life to North London rather than stay in South London or Surrey.
Yeah.
It's
ridiculous. Guys, I'm so sorry to say this. I got to wrap this up. So
I'll quickly answer this because for me, and this is where it's, I'll talk from the heart here. I'm very, very lucky from doing this and being on YouTube and becoming friends with people within the YouTube community, especially, and I will always give them credit, as I always do, the mothership, Ben and Simeon, who I love more than life itself, because of some of the work I do with them and because of the friendship we've built up. Whenever I come over, if they've got a spare ticket, they will give it to me. Or if I've done a couple of watch-alongs or work with them in the studio, if one of them are off, they go, Brian, listen, we've got a spare ticket for you. I will not pay to go in that stadium. And I haven't given that club a single penny since the summer of the season we didn't sign anyone. Not a penny. And it's run so deep with me that people know I've got 4 nephews and 1 niece. And what a ritual I had with my sister, I said, as soon as they're born, the very first thing they wear is a Spurs baby grow that I buy from the Spurs shop. 3 of them got that. 2 of them didn't, because it was after I said, I'm not giving this club a penny. So it's a break of a tradition for my 4th nephew Levi and my 1 niece Sophie, because I'm so true to my word. And as Alex said, when I say I'm going to do something, i.e. a tattoo or turn up at a pro, one of the things I pride myself is I'm a man of my word. And I said I will not give that club a single penny. So I'm very, very lucky in that way, that when I do get to go back home, like even Crystal Palace, Danny was in Amsterdam, and Danny said, Brian, here you go, here's my ticket. Because they know I will not give money. I go to that ground to support the football team, not the board, the football team. When it comes to season tickets, and Danny will know because we sit there, he has the privilege of sitting next to Ben, Simeon, every single game. Now, one of the things I love when I go to Tottenham, and I see it with a lot of people, is when you go and sit with Ben and Simeon, it's not just Ben and Simeon, it's his fiance, Ashley, his wonderful fiance, soon-to-be wife. It's his dad. It's his grandpa. There are 3 generations of that family that get together at home games to watch that football team. And that, I wouldn't even know how many people around the stadium have got fathers and sons or whatever, and they congregate. People work goddamn hard. All that, and especially during this time with COVID and everything. And football is their release at the end of the weekend. It is their end of their release. People work damn hard.
Alex, you're on mute, bro.
Damn hard to be able to make they work
You're on mute, Alex.
They work damn hard to be able to go to the football. And that is their release, like I said. So when it comes to season tickets, what you got to remember as well, when I had my season ticket, my first season ticket was the 95-96 season. When the season after Klinsmann. So Klinsmann left for the first time. We signed Chris Armstrong. Home and away, I was there. I gave my season ticket up in 2005 or 5 when I moved to Israel. I would, if I had my season ticket, like a Danny, like a Stelios, like at everyone, I would be renewing my ticket to support the team. The team. You go in to watch a game of football. You don't go in to watch the boardroom. Okay? This is my stance that I have all the time. That's what you go in there for. And like it or not, Levy in, Levy out, Levy on the fence, they will go at some point. And if you're like me, that's Levy out and I have my season ticket, if I give my season ticket, I guarantee you the second they go, the surge to get it, you're going to have to go. Sean, you're on what, 80,000 at the moment?
75.
70, okay. So you're going behind that. And I wouldn't even say you're the, and you've got someone like Graham who's just popped into the chat, who's been a season ticket holder since the 60s. He has seen Bill Nick. He has seen Gilzine, Greaves, Mackay, Hoddle, Waddle, Gaza, Lineker. I can go on and on. He should not have to give up his season ticket because of whether he is Levy out like me, but he goes to that club and has been since the 60s to go and watch that team. Where people should stop is exactly the next bit. Like I said, I don't spend a single penny in that club shop. A single penny. When Danny will vouch for it, when we go to the bar, when we go to the club, I won't buy a drink in that pub. I will not buy a drink. I will not eat. People buy me drinks in there. And I actually, for the last 2 games, I realised people buying me drinks is giving him money. So I've stopped having drinks in there.
Because Brian,
Yeah.
I got to interrupt you, but we've got to wrap it up, brother.
I was getting there. But that's what I was saying. People can spend their season tickets. Just don't spend money in the shop. Don't spend money in, like Sean said, the crappy food. There's local businesses outside that have been struggling. You don't need to spend £7 a pint when you can go to a pub, which, all right, maybe the same as a match day. There's other ways to get Levy out, but giving up your right to do something you love that you work damn hard for. I'm against people giving up their season tickets. I have to speak to Graham and say, whatever you do, don't do it.
Brian, you're spot on, bruv. You're speaking the truth. Speaking the truth.
Don't give up your season ticket. Just don't spend a penny on.
And you can help that. You can help that definitely. You know what I mean? Because if you don't need to go to that, you can help the local businesses. You know what I mean? That have been suffering through the pain of what's happened the last couple of years. You know what I mean? You know, that's where you can help yourselves. You know what I mean? But I'm not telling people what to do. But I'm just saying that, you know, I totally agree with you. You know what I mean? Like, Brian.
I could see you going like that. I wish I could have heard you when you were going on your little.
Yeah, no, because I was being respectful. I didn't want to. Not having a go at you, sure. By the way,
respectful. Shut it, Waffle.
No, but go at me.
No.
Yeah,
then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, we got to wrap it up. So,
72. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much indeed for you had to stay for a Dagul classic rant, calm rant. Thank you guys for great mature content. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much. And guys,
thank you very much. Before we go, let me just say something, right? Very quickly, predictions for tomorrow, because we haven't done it. So what's score predictions tomorrow, everyone, before we wrap it up?
I'll start off because this is easy for me.
Just a quick fire.
3-1.
2-0.
I'm going 4-1 tomorrow. I'm going 4-1. Brian's going 5-1. So that's your score prediction for tomorrow, everyone. So yeah, you know where you can find these boys. You know exactly where you can find them. Spurs Talk Show.
You can find Alex at the bottom of the banter pile because he's been absolutely bantered tonight.
You can find him at the post office, at the Royal Mail post office, trying to get the addresses for the right post because he keeps misfiring and keeps misdelivering on post. So you'll find him there as well. But you can also find him at Alex
DHL Davies.
I love the way you say, Danny. I love the way you say we've got to wrap it up. And then you just keep talking.
We've got to go.
So all I will say
is keep talking.
Conte is all I'm saying.
Right. Can I just say as well before we go on, Alex, go on quickly, very quickly.
Quickly, yeah. I know everybody enjoyed the box office make his appearance again. You know what I mean? Because it needed the Mr. Box Office to make it box office. Like I said, you know what I mean? You're not gonna find me on socials. You're gonna find me on YouTube. Like I said, I've got my own channel. Yes, we might be taking a little bit of a break. It might be sporadic, but you're still gonna get great, absolutely excellent content from me at the end of the day. And like I said, I'm harsh on my team. I'm very, very harsh on my team, but it all come together at the end of the day, you know what I mean? And
all right, he's waffling too much now. Let's shut him off a bit.
Let me do it again.
Brian, give it away, mate. Give it away.
Conte.
Chichi.
Take it easy, guys. Love you all. Thank you for all your support, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time.